Stand up, New York Giant fans. Let me give you my intro as well. What is going on, football fans? Back at it with another New York Giants live stream. I want to give a quick shout out to Joe, man. Thank you so much, man, for the $5 donation before I went live. Unfortunately, it's the only game I'm not going to be able to live stream all year. I was very busy yesterday. Was unable to live stream the New York Giants game. I'll be live streaming the next one on Sunday. I think it's against the Cleveland Browns. And then we got the New England Patriots, the last preseason game of the year before we get ready for the Denver Broncos. And it was nice to have football back. Before we talk a little bit about it, let's say hello to everybody in the chat. What's going on there, Dave Campbell, man? What's going on there, John Williams? What's going on there, Slink? What's going on there, Diehard Giants fan? B-Dog in the house, Renegade in the house, Connor in the house, Seth in the house. Thank you to everybody who has popped in. Agitator, I was going to do it later today. What's going on there, Albin, man? What's going on there, Ian Graham? Unfortunately, I have plans tonight. Otherwise, I would have been able to do it about 8 o'clock. But I figured I'd go live midday Sunday. Hopefully, some of you guys could pop in. We'll talk about the game, some of the things that we liked, some of the things that we didn't. And, yeah, let's jump right into it. Some of my observations. I watched the game in its entirety today. I taped the game, and I watched it this morning. First things first, it's very hard to judge a game like this, right? Because the New York Giants didn't have a lot of their starters. They had the starting offensive line, and believe me, we're going to talk about that. But obviously, Daniel Jones didn't play. Kadarius Toney didn't play. Saquon Barkley didn't play. Kenny Golladay didn't play. So, I think Slayton played a little bit. I don't think Sterling Shepard played. So, the offense, outside of the offensive line for the most part, you didn't have the starters out there. The defense, it was kind of the same thing. Matter of fact, I have the starting lineup for the defense written out. And it was B.J. Hill, Austin Johnson, Danny Shelton, Trent Harris, Reggie Ragland, Tate Crowder, Azeez Ojulari, Isaac Yiadom, Darnay Holmes, Julian Love, and Madre Harper. So not a lot of starters there. Rodarius Williams got a lot of play. We'll talk about him. He was kind of a little bit underwhelming for a guy that was getting a lot of great write-ups during camp. He played a lot. They played him in the slot. They played him on the outside. The Jets were targeting him a ton throughout the game. And he's a rookie, so I'm not going to get carried away with that. As far as the offensive line goes, let's start with the depth, okay? We'll start with the bad. The Giants came out today, and they said they're gonna. Joe Judge basically said the Giants are gonna be making some moves. The Giants are gonna be picking up some players to help the depth of this offensive line, and it's abundantly clear that they need it. They are not strong in terms of depth with this offensive line. You can't even debate that if you're the most optimistic Giant fan in the world. The starters, however. I think the starters, and maybe some people disagree with me on this. Damien, man, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. Can we please have a good O-line? I'm tired of going through this. Yeah, we're going to talk about that right now. The starters outside of the first drive, and the first drive was ugly. Okay, the first drive was ugly. Kenny Wiggins got completely demolished at the guard spot. It created a quarterback hit. And then Matt Parrott, I think it was the third play of the opening drive, got completely beat off the right side. It looked like the running back was supposed to chip, never did. I could be wrong on that, but regardless, Matt Parrott got completely demolished off the right edge, right? And after that, the next 2, 3, 4 drives, however many drives there were for the offense with the first team unit out there, I actually thought the offensive line did a really good job outside of Kenny Wiggins, who's not going to be one of the starters on this team. Obviously, that'll be Shane Lemieux. I thought Will Hernandez, and I put it on Twitter while I was watching the game. I thought Will Hernandez looked like a different player, guys. I really do. And I'm not, obviously I know that it was not a full starting defense for the Jets either. I don't think the Jets had Quentin Williams out there, but they did have the best pass rusher out there. Andrew Thomas was locked up on him. We'll talk about that. We all know that going into this year, Will Hernandez trimmed down a lot. He lost a lot of weight. He was working hard in the offseason. I saw something from him. He looked a lot more athletic. They used him to get out and pull on that big run for Clement. He looked good in pass protection. I was very impressed with Will Hernandez, and I think that's a very good sign for this offensive line. He's a guy that's going to need to take a big step forward this year if this line's going to improve. So that was one of the big positives I took out of this game. The other, of course, being Andrew Thomas. Now, Andrew Thomas, at times, I thought got beat, but he did a good job recovering. He used his athletic ability to not let the edge defender set the edge. So I thought Andrew Thomas had a really good game overall, and I thought Will Hernandez had a really good game overall. And outside of the one bad play for Matt Parrott where he got demolished on the first drive, I thought he had a really good game. He had that nice pancake block, I think, on the second drive. So overall, I thought the first unit offensive line was actually pretty good. I'm not saying it was immaculate, but I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was actually an encouraging performance overall from the first unit. I think they only gave up one pressure, if I'm not mistaken, and it was that sack that Matt Baird allowed. The second unit, oh my God. And we'll talk about everything throughout the stream. Josh, man, thank you very much. We need Ryder to move Gates to right guard and Hernandez to left guard. So you said, well, you're saying you don't want Lemieux in the starting lineup. Lemieux didn't play last night because they held him out. So you're saying, yeah, we'll see if we get Ryder. You know, I've talked about Ryder for a while. If we could guarantee him a starting spot, I'm sure he'd come here. I don't know if the Giants are going to do that. And I don't know if they want to move Nick Gates from the center spot, but I know a lot of people have talked about that. We'll see what they ultimately do. I definitely think the Giants are going to bring somebody in, whether it's off waivers, whatever it may be. They're going to bring somebody in this week. I don't know if it's going to be a long-term answer. I don't know if it's going to be a camp body. They may be bringing in more high-quality players as more and more players get cut, but they definitely have to bring in somebody for this offensive line. And I was thinking about it as I'm watching. I'm like, no wonder why they didn't play Daniel Jones. He's going to get killed with Kenny Wiggins out there blocking at the guard spot. And so, Scott, man, thank you very much. Long neck, Glennon, an inaccurate. Well, I mean, listen, Glennon is not. Mike Glennon is not going to be a guy that you're going to bank on to win very many football games. It's just facts. He's a journeyman quarterback. He's a guy that's a solid backup. But if Daniel Jones goes down, we all know where this season is going with it. He's got to stay healthy. Knock on wood. Those guys are not going to win you very many football games. Clayton Thorson's not making this roster. Thorson looked horrible, and I don't really care. I don't think he's making this team. But Thorson missed like 3 or 4 wide open throws. Made one good deep ball throw. I forgot it was 2. It was broken up, but it looked like a good throw. But outside of that, he was bad. I know he threw a touchdown at the end. And thank you very much, Entertainer Source. Got to appreciate it. Grim Solo says Carter Coughlin pushes Crowder for the starting. That's gonna, and I don't want to get too carried away with Carter Coughlin on his performance yesterday. And I like Carter Coughlin. He was one of the guys I had my eye on, and I was excited to see how he was going to play in the new role in the inside linebacker position. But let's also factor in he was playing third stringers. So I'm not going to get too carried away yet. But what I will say, Grim, I thought Carter Coughlin looked really good. He looked pretty comfortable playing on the inside, and they actually moved him to the outside as well when he got the strip sack. He was actually, I think, if I'm not mistaken, lined up on the outside on that play where he went right around the running back. So they moved him around a bit. I thought he had a really good game. He was great, again, against second, third teamers. So I'm not going to go crazy. But it's a very encouraging sign that Carter Coughlin at least could provide at a bare minimum, valuable depth at the inside linebacker position. And I see no reason why he can't at least push a guy like Tate Crowder to potentially start with this team this year, especially if Crowder comes out struggling. So he was one of the standouts as well for sure yesterday, Carter Coughlin. I thought he would be. Of course, another guy that was a major standout was David Sills. Everybody had their eyes on him. Sills, I think, had 3 or 4 catches. He had that one great over-the-shoulder catch. And another thing I want to point out about Sills actually created the pass interference call. That doesn't go in the stat sheet, but Sills made a good move. He got open, and the defender had to interfere with the pass. Otherwise, it would have been a touchdown to David Sills down the right sideline. And I think that it would have resulted in a touchdown had Corey Clement held on to the football. The Giants were at the 7-yard line after that penalty. So Sills, I thought, had a pretty good game as well. He's a guy that a lot of people have their eye on. However, I'm going to continue to say this, and I'm rooting for Sills to make the team. I hope he makes the team. I think he could be a good receiver. It's going to be tough because he's not a special teams contributor. I continue to say it. CJ Board's the guy that I've predicted to be that 6 wide receiver. It could definitely be Sills, though. We're going to have to wait and see how it all plays out throughout training camp. Interestingly, CJ Board was returning both kicks and punch yesterday. Now, I know it was the second team, so, they're not going to have their first team kick returner, their first team punt returner, but they used CJ Board for both. Which I thought was interesting as well. I wanted to point out. And we're going to talk about a couple of other things as well. But Grim, man, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it, buddy. And let's see. Yuri, man, thank you very much. Although Ojulari was double teamed, he's the number 1 pass rusher. Yeah. Ojulari, listen. And Thomas and Hernandez are improving. Yes, I completely agree with that. Listen, Ojulari, he's going to go through bumps. Don't go into this year with ridiculous expectations. At the end of the day, Azeez Ojulari went in the second round for a reason. He's a project. He's a guy that I do think fits the scheme very well. He's got good bend off the edge. But, you look at him next to Mekhi Becton, yeah, he's going to struggle from time to time. But I thought, that one play in particular you're talking about where he set the edge and he stopped the running back for a 1-yard gain, I thought he did a great job there. I don't think Azeez Ojulari is going to be an every down pass rusher. I don't expect that this year. He may start. I think he probably will start. But I think, they're going to have a near even distribution between 3 or 4 edge rushers. That's at least my expectation going into the year. But, yeah, that was a really nice play on that run play you're referring to where he set the edge. He looked really good going up against a really good left tackle, Mekhi Becton. So that was a really good play. That was definitely one of the highlight plays for the defense there. Let me just see here. Adam, thank you very much. I know it's preseason, and every year we say it's only preseason, but the vibe feels the same as it has for years. Nobody out there was competent. Yeah, Adam, I get it, and I get and listen, I completely understand Giants fans that are, I don't even want to use the word negative, just not optimistic, cautiously optimistic going into a season. I get it. This team has won 15 games over the last 3 years. So I understand your thought process, but what I'm going to say to you, Adam, in terms of the team's overall performance yesterday, the fact we only scored 7 points, I don't think you could read much into it because outside of the offensive line, who were the starters? I'm going to read you the starting defense yesterday. You ready? I'm going to do it again. BJ Hill, who's going to be, he's not going to start. He's going to be a guy that subs in every now and again. Austin Johnson, who's going to split time at the nose tackle. Danny Shelton's going to be the other guy he splits with. Trent Harris might not even make the team. Reggie Ragland, backup linebacker. Tate Crowder, probably the second starting linebacker. Azeez Ojulari may or may not start to open the year. Isaac Yadam's going to be a bench player. Darnay Holmes going to be in the slot. I think they had him playing on the outside. Julian Love's going to be a bench player. Madre Harper's going to be a bench player. You didn't have Blake Martinez. You didn't have James Bradbury. You didn't have Adoree Jackson. You didn't have more than half your defense. And your offense, you didn't have your quarterback. You didn't have your top 3 wide receivers. You didn't have your star running back. So yesterday, in terms of the overall performance for the team, I'm not reading too much into it. And I don't think anybody should, to be completely honest with you. I think the big thing you take out of this outside of TJ Brunson, which of course is a shame, he's going to miss the rest of the year with the ACL, may or may not have made the team. I don't think it really impacts the New York Giants too much in terms of this season. They got out healthy, and I think you saw some good individual performances. I think, like I said, the guy that my eyes, I swear, my eyes, I had to rewind. The first like 3 or 4 possessions, I kept rewinding it because I wanted to see how the individual offensive linemen were playing. My eyes were popping out of my head when I saw the way Will Hernandez was playing. Looks like a different player. I'm very impressed with Will Hernandez. I think his weight loss is definitely going to add to his game this year. I was very impressed with what I saw from Will Hernandez in the first preseason game. Now, I'm not going to get too ahead of myself, but I thought he looked really good. And I thought Andrew Thomas looked good as well. So I think you take, little tidbits here and there. Rodarius Williams, not so much. Didn't look very good. But I thought the offensive line, the starters, at least some of them looked really good yesterday. So that's what I take out of it. I'm not going to take a losing performance. I take nothing out of this in terms of losing. I could care less about losing a preseason game, especially a preseason game in which we didn't play anybody. Yuri, man, thank you very much. Number 87, Willis should make the team. He's not Ingram. He caught a touchdown. He caught a touchdown, and I think he got interfered with on another one, if I'm not mistaken. He's not going to make the team unless there's a lot of injuries. He's not going to make the team. But, yeah, he did catch the touchdown. Reese John actually caught a couple of passes, and he should have. I'll tell you what, I was actually impressed with Reese John, even though he may or may not make the team, depending on if Rudolph's able to go at the start of the year. But I was actually impressed with Reese John a little bit. They used him in the H-back role. Looked like he had good hands. Looks like he could be a competent blocker. That was another guy that kind of stood out to me a little bit. Brandon, man, thank you very much. I don't know how Yadam still has a roster spot. He always seems to find a way in the field and stink it up. Hope we see none of him this year. He's not going to play as a star. He's going to make this team, Brandon, but he's not going to start. He's either going to be the third. He's either going to be the primary backup or the second backup. Could be Julian Love, could be Yadam, or Rodarius Williams. One of those guys will be the third corner, but in terms of on the outside. But he's not going to start. The only way he starts is if we have an injury, which hopefully is not the case. I don't expect to see have him see much time. And I'm going to tell you what, as much as we hate Yadam, and listen, Yadam was really bad last year for the Giants, he's a competent backup. I'm fine with him being a backup. You just don't want him starting for your football team. Eric, man, thank you very much. Can't wait to see Kadarius Toney in his first game. You and me both, man. I was excited to potentially see him yesterday. Obviously, it didn't happen. Understandable. The guy hasn't played a ton. He's been banged up a little bit, so I get it. The other thing I want to make note of, by the way, guys, and I said this, it just made me think of it as I was talking to you. I said on Twitter the other day, a lot of people were complaining, myself included. I wasn't going over the top, but I thought they should have played Daniel Jones for a series or two yesterday. And I thought about it. And I said to myself, even though I still would have been completely fine with them playing Daniel Jones, and I probably still would have preferred he played a series or two yesterday, I thought about it, and I said, on most years, at least recently for the Giants, they don't have intra-squad scrimmages. They're going to have 2 intra-squad scrimmages this year. So they're playing preseason games against the Patriots and the Browns. In addition to that, they're scrimmaging each team for, I think, 3 days. So I think Joe Judge might have looked at that. This is just me speculating and guessing. I think Joe Judge might have looked at that, and he might have said, you know what? I'm gonna give Daniel Jones the first game off. We're not fully equipped on the offensive line. We don't have Shane Lemieux in there. It's their first game in. I'm not looking to get my quarterback hurt, knowing that I'm gonna have 3 days to assess him against other competition, against the Patriots and the Cleveland Browns, in addition to 2 more games. So that's kind of the way I looked at that, and it kind of made more sense to me why the New York Giants elected not to play Jones for a series or 2 in this first game. So that's my opinion on that. I meant to bring that up as well. But thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of news that comes out from those inter-squad scrimmages as well. And Clockman, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. He says, easy, guys. Tuna lost almost every preseason. Oh, preseason means nothing. Clock, I forgot what team it was. It was either the Detroit Lions or the Cleveland Browns. The year that they went 0-16, I think it was the Lions. They went 4-0 in the preseason. The New York Giants in 2019, we won 5 games. We went 4-0 in the preseason. So preseason means absolutely nothing to me. I don't care if you win. I don't care if you lose. It's just about building and growing and seeing how some of these individual players are growing into their roles. There's no reason to flip out. We were starting our backup quarterback. I mean, come on, with none of our weapons. True Atlas, man, thank you very much. Hey, come in. Sorry about that. That may happen like 1 or 2 more times. That happens from time to time with the old computer. I'm getting the new computer back. Supposed to be, I think he said Tuesday. So we'll see. It's like the 3rd time I had to send it to Apple to get the keyboard fixed. So that may happen 1 more time. That seems to happen with the streams, especially when I do them solo. So apologize about that. I'm going to get to your questions, though. Sorry about that, guys. True Atlas, man, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. He says, hey, coming into the game, all I wanted to see was guys flourish. I don't care about the loss. Thomas Pancakes, guys. Yeah, exactly. That's the way I look at it as well, True Atlas. Period. That's it, man. I'm looking at individual performances, and I thought we'd get a good look at the offensive line, and I think that we did. The first unit was out there for about a quarter and a half, so that was really what I wanted to look at in this preseason game. That's what I was excited to see, and I thought they at least met my expectations. I'm not going to go over the top and said that they were incredible, but I thought they at least met my expectations. So I think that's something to take out of it. As far as Corey Clement goes, you're talking about the running back. Clement looked pretty good outside of the fumble, which cost us a potential touchdown. Corey Clement, to me, looks like a more advanced running back right now than Devontae Booker. He just does. Devontae Booker, the first couple of drives looked like a slow-plodding running back. I was not super impressed with him right now, and that's what you've heard from the people at camp. With the reports, they've said that they feel that Clement has been the more impressive running back. Clement looked like he had more burst, man. I was much more impressed with Clement. We'll see. The Giants obviously paid Booker a lot of money, $3 million. So Clement, I still think, I'm going to continue to say this, is going to be that Deion Lewis-like role from last year. I still think Booker goes into the year as the primary backup, but maybe things change. He did look good yesterday in terms of running the football. Jason, man, thank you very much. Shelton should be the nose, period. Coughlin will be a movable chess piece. Thomas and Hernandez played well. Go sign Ryder and move Gates to guard. Yo, I think I already read that one. Maybe I didn't. No, I don't think I did. Somebody else brought up move him to guard. Yeah, we'll see if we get Ryder. I'd be completely for it. I'd be for it. We'll see it. We'll see if they ultimately decide to do that. I've been calling for Ryder for about 3 or 4 months now. As far as Shelton goes, Shelton had a really good play. It was the 4th and 1 or 4th and 2 where he had the stuff against the run. That was a really good play, a big play in that game yesterday. I think Shelton and Austin Johnson are going to be used pretty evenly. Shelton will be used when it's like obvious run situations, like you saw, 4th and 2, maybe a 3rd and 1 on the goal line, things like that. I think Austin Johnson will be used in other scenarios. So, but I thought, that was a big play in that game yesterday, Jason. He's good at that. That's what he's known for, and he did a good job on that play. But thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. And Yuri, thank you very much. We finally get to see Reese John Tuelo's replacement. Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it's possible if we go with 4 tight ends, or like I said, if Rudolph isn't ready to start the year, it's possible he could make the team. They threw him a couple of balls. He looked decent blocking. We'll see, but he was another guy that kind of stood out to me a little bit. I know maybe his stats didn't jump off the page, but he looked like he knew what he was doing out there. Let's put it that way, and maybe he could end up making this team as one of the tight ends. Richard, man, thank you very much. I seen too much arm tackling and too much effort for the strip rather than getting him down. Yeah, the tackling, especially the one thing I'll say, Richard, and again, wasn't our starters, but especially early on in the game, I was getting discouraged watching the first 2-3 drives for the Jets. They were pushing us back at will. They had big lanes. They were running pretty freely, especially on that first drive. The tackling was not very good. I agree with you on that. The defense did not come out looking great. I'll completely agree with you on that. That usually happens 2 times. It might happen a third. I can't guarantee it. I don't know why it's happening, but hopefully it doesn't continue to happen. And like I said, once I get the better computer back, hopefully in like 4 or 5 days, this won't happen anymore. They said they're definitely going to fix it this time around, so hopefully that'll be the case. But yeah, Richard, to go back to your point, I'm with you, man. I think let me just make sure I didn't miss anything here. I did not. Okay, good. I'm with you on that. I think the defense just overall, not just the tackling, just overall, looked like they were getting pushed off the ball pretty easily. I was not super impressed with the defense to start that game. I'm in complete agreement with you on that. And I was kind of a little bit underwhelmed by Rodarius Williams. I think that stood out. I think most Giant fans probably agree with me on that. He had the one big play, but overall, Rodarius Williams, and I know they were using him in a lot of different ways in the slot on the outside. I was a little bit disappointed with him based on some of the things that we've heard in camp. But he's a rookie. We'll see how he continues to grow. Dan, man, thank you very much. Is this the last episode of The Sopranos? Dan, by the way, I love that show. And that is a great comparison where the screen just goes black. I remember when that show ended, Dan, that there were articles that came out that everybody called like the cable company because they thought their cable was out because they didn't get the ending. That was the most confusing ending in the history of cable TV. But I absolutely love that show. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, he was getting targeted a lot. What's going on there, Super Taj, man? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. One guy that stood out to me was Raymond Johnson III. Guy put a jet on his butt. Raymond Johnson III, I know the exact player you're talking about. The other player that I want to make note of that I thought he had 2 really good plays, Nico Lalos. I thought Nico Lalos had 1 really good hit, and then he had another good play off the edge. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I remember writing it down. Nico Lalos looked impressive to me yesterday as well. I thought he looked pretty good off the edge too. So maybe he's got a shot to make this team as well. A couple other notes I want to see what I thought. CJ Board, they used him on a jet sweep. I think the Giants are going to implement that a bit into the offense this year. They used it last year. You remember they used Sterling Shepard on that. They used Ingram on that a bit. They used that in the game. I thought that was a good play call. I think they had about 15 yards on that. I think that'll usually be Kadarius Toney in that role, but in this game it was CJ Board. The punt game I wanted to talk about. Last year, I thought the punt game was underwhelming. I don't know about you guys. I thought Riley Dixon had a mediocre year at best last year. I thought he had a good game yesterday. He had 3 punts. His first 3 punts, he pinned them all within the 20-yard line. And I think it was Matt Cole was the name of the special teamer, made a really nice play, saving the ball from going into the end zone. He had another punt that was 54 yards. Hopefully he doesn't get too much practice this year, but I thought he had a good game. Let me say, Rodarius, yeah, Aziz set the edge we talked about. I thought Clement had a nice burst. Yeah, I mean, and Carter Coughlin, like we talked about, but he really stood out in the second half with the second unit. Let's see what we got here. Reggie Ragland was pretty good too. I'm frozen for you, Luke. I don't think I should be because I got it on the phone. I don't look frozen there, so I don't know. Maybe you got to refresh it. The practices in the game versus Cleveland will be more interesting to follow. I agree with that, Big Pat. You're gonna get storylines. You're gonna get opposing players talking about the team, opposing coaches giving their opinions, and we'll hopefully get more insight to this football team. But I think that's interesting. I'll definitely have a lot of videos up on that as we start to get news about what the Browns and what the Patriots have to say, how the practices are going. That's a different thing that's been thrown into the offseason this year that I'm looking forward to. Let's see what we got here. Geez, we have the worst backups in the NFL. Well, the offensive lineman is bad. The offensive line is bad, man. Yeah, I know Brunson tore his ACL, which is unfortunate. Like I said earlier, I don't think it's going to really affect this team, if I'm being honest with you. I think he was a long shot to make the team. Maybe he would have made it, but it's not like that guy's not replaceable. Obviously, it's very unfortunate and horrible. And hopefully he's able to get back on the football field sooner than later, but he's out for the year. So the Giants did have an injury yesterday. None of the big players though got hurt, which is good. The quarterback room is horrendous. Well, PJ, I'm not going to argue with you on that. If Daniel Jones goes down, we're in trouble, man. We're in trouble, man. If Daniel Jones goes down, we're in big trouble. So knock on wood and hope that he stays healthy. You got a glimpse of Mike Glennon. You got a glimpse of Clayton Thorson, and I don't think you or anybody else in this chat liked what they saw. So hope that Daniel Jones stays healthy this year. Let's see what we got here. I low-key miss Colt McCoy. Listen, I love Colt McCoy. I mean, the guy came in. He won us our biggest game really since, 2016 last year? I mean, was he that good? I mean, I feel like Colt McCoy kind of just relied on the defense and the running game in that game to win the football game. But he's probably an upgrade to what we saw yesterday. That's for sure. Hernandez has to play for a contract. Yeah, and maybe that's incentive for why he lost weight. He got in better shape. He looked like a different player. That guy, he was the guy that popped off for me, personally. And if he takes a big step this year, I was a little bit concerned, to be honest with you, with him shifting over to the right side. He's never played there. He looked good yesterday. So we'll see if he continues to go. Another, Nick Gates. And I'll say this about Nick Gates yesterday. There was a couple of plays, and I know everybody loves Nick Gates. I know he's everybody's favorite Giant. There was a couple of plays where I thought Nick Gates got pushed back into the lap of the quarterback. So I could understand a little bit of what PFF said about him. But overall, they gave him a 9.9 pass grade. That's crazy to me. The guy didn't surrender a sack. That's crazy to me. But that was a little ridiculous when I read that. Nick Gates had a 9.9 PFF grade yesterday in pass protection. I think Thomas had a 76. I think Parrott had a 71, and that's including the sack that he gave up. And I think Hernandez had the highest grade. I think his overall grade was 81 on the offensive line. What's going on there, Michael? Man, thanks for popping in the stream, man. Do you think our O-line improves? Yes. I do think it improves, but that's not saying much, right? Last year, we were the 31st ranked offensive line in the sport. I do think it improves. The question is, does it improve enough? Because last year, even though we were ranked 31, I don't think we were the 31st best offensive line over the last 8 games. The first 8 games, we were, if you could rank 40th, we would have ranked 40th the first 8 games. Like, we were much worse than 32. That's how bad we were, which is why I think we finished ranked 31. I would say we were more like 23, 24. If I had to guess, maybe the last 8 games, we definitely showed some improvement. Still not average. I think we're going to be improved based off of last year's, overall ranking, what people say at 31. I think we'll be maybe hopefully in the mid-teens. I'm probably thinking maybe the low 20s, 21, 22, which would be an improvement. The question is it going to be a big enough improvement? And obviously the growth of these younger players are going to have a lot to do with it. Anthony, man, what's going on, man? Thanks for popping in. Dominic, stand up, new member. Welcome to the squad, man. I appreciate it, buddy. Tony isn't injured. Judge is punishing for breaking team rules. Yeah, no, I don't think he's currently injured. He's been injured, but I don't think he's currently injured. I did read Football Guy. I thought that, I don't know, maybe I misread something. I thought somebody told me that he had some kind of minor injury. I don't know, but I don't think he had anything serious. No, in terms of before this game. I just don't think Judge wanted to play the starters, if I'm being honest with you. I don't think he wanted to play the starters in this game. Independent man, thank you very much. He says, 1, I want to know what's going on with Tony. The paper-thin offensive line depth put Tony in the spotlight. Well, Tony didn't play yesterday. 2, any O-line pieces we can afford to add? Thanks, sir. Well, yeah, I mean, we're definitely adding offensive linemen. It just came out on Twitter right before I went live, like an hour ago. Judge basically said the Giants are going to sign some offensive linemen. Now, the question is, are they going to be valuable depth, offensive linemen, or are they just going to be camp bodies? Who's available? Who could they bring in right now? Ultimately, they're going to bring in an improvement over what they have now. I don't know if that's going to be this week. I don't know if that's going to be in 3 weeks after teams make more cuts, but I definitely think they're going to bring in an improvement over what they have coming off the bench right now. And they're definitely going to bring in some camp bodies. They don't have enough bodies right now. That's why the offensive line yesterday, the first unit had to play almost the entire first half. I don't think Judge wanted to do that based on the fact that none of the other starters were out there. We have no depth on the offensive line. And I think Wiggins played basically the whole game after there was an injury to the line. So we'll see, man. Let's see what we got here. Watching Clayton Thorson makes me want to puke. Yeah, he was horrible. What's up there, Ms. Rye, man? Thanks for popping in. He says, put Solder back on. Parrott ain't ready, Chris. Well, Ms. Rye, here's what I'll say. The first drive, Parrott was bad. He completely whiffed on that block. After that, I thought he settled down. He had a really nice pancake block on the second drive. Didn't really hear his name after that. I'm going to give him more time before I say that, but I think it's nice to have that insurance if Parrott does struggle this year to be able to put Nate Solder in the lineup. I'll say that. And I'll also say if Nate Solder is struggling not Nate Solder, rather, Matt Barrett is struggling the first 3, 4, 5 weeks, yeah, you got to put him in there. You can't have your quarterback get killed. But let's give Matt Barrett an opportunity here. Let's give him another 2 weeks of preseason. Let's give him a couple of games during the regular season and continue to hopefully progress and grow. But don't be surprised, if he is struggling, if Joe Judge does make that move. Nameless man, thank you very much. Can the Giants still score touchdowns? Yes. Are they in trouble if Jones goes down? Also, yes. My fingers are crossed he stays healthy. 100%. But if we're being fair, though, Nameless, there's a handful of teams that maybe could get by if their starting quarterback goes down. There's not many, okay? Yes, there's been teams that have shown in the past. The Saints Breeze went down. I think they won 3 or 4 games without him. They have a great offensive line. They have a great overall team. If Jones goes down, we're not going to win football games. But that's more teams than not that would be in the same exact situation. That's why you're only as good as your backup quarterback. And the Giants, yeah, we don't have a very good one. There's no denying it. We just don't. And that's something that I think maybe the Giants in the future, if Jones proves to be the guy and they think he's going to be the long-term answer, maybe they look to improve upon. Maybe they bring in a more proven commodity as a backup quarterback. But yeah, there's no doubt about it. If Jones goes down this year, we're going to struggle to win football games. So better make sure he stays healthy. And yeah, we're going to talk about him as well. You're talking about Sandro Platzkummer. Sid says thoughts on the Austrian running back. Yeah, we're going to talk about that as well. That was one of the highlight plays of the game. I'm going to talk about that in 1 second. Anthony, man, thank you very much, man. Giants football is back. It's heaven once again. Yesterday, just look at the bodies. That's right, my man. Dude, I am so pumped up that football is back. I was so pissed off that I couldn't watch the game live. I listened to it, and I watched it this morning because I taped it. So we'll not be missing another game live, though, that's for sure. But I'm so excited that football's back. And I'm going to get to the Platzkummer thing I want to just talk about real quick. Sandro Platzkummer was the run was great, and it's cool, right? He's coming from Austria, foreign player. He's one of those underdog stories that you want to root for as a Giants fan. But the thing that really jumped out to me, and the thing that I loved about that play more than anything else, and of course I'm super happy for the running back, Platzkummer, was the reaction by the New York Giants team. You had that 50-yard run, and then they jump over to the sideline. You see Saquon Barkley jumping up and down, going crazy. You see everybody on the bench super excited for Platzkummer. And then Barkley gave him a huge hug on the sideline after the fact. So I thought that was really cool. I think it shows that the team has good chemistry and they're fighting for one another. So I really like to see that. And it was cool, man. It was cool to see him get a 50-yard run backed up on his own 1-yard line. JB, man, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. He says, who you rather play, Bridgewater or Locke? I think I'd rather play Locke. I honestly don't care. Neither one scares me. And I know Locke threw an 80-yard touchdown. It's preseason, whatever. But I think I'd rather play Locke. And my reasoning is this. In that game, you look at the Giants, you look at the Broncos. I think we're like nearly identical types of teams in terms of the way we're built. We both have a very strong secondary. We have a good overall defense. And we have good weapons. We have a questionable quarterback, and we have a questionable offensive line. I think both teams are very similar. We obviously have the advantage being that we're at home. But the reason that I think I'd prefer Locke to Bridgewater is I think in that game, it's going to come down to who turns the ball over less. Whoever secures the ball more, I think, is going to win that game. So if the Giants don't make mistakes, they play the way they did over the second half of last year, and they could create a few on the other side, I think they win the football game. And I look at those two quarterbacks. Bridgewater, to me, is more of a game manager, a guy that's going to play it safe. Locke's a guy that I think is prone to turning the football over. So as a Giants fan, even though Locke may be more of an upside guy, maybe a guy that could create some more bigger plays, I think I'd rather go up against him because I think he's more prone to turn the football over. So I would prefer to play Drew Lock week 1 as opposed to Teddy Bridgewater. Let's see what we got here. Locke is going to sling the ball and turn the ball over. Yeah, Taj, exactly. Do you think they should bring in Mariota or Minshew as a backup? I wouldn't be opposed to improving the backup. If those guys were available, if they could improve the backup, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I'll say that. Let's see what we got here. I want a contract to be in that Giants quarterback room after what I saw last night. Anthony, you might have a shot, man. I don't know how you are throwing a football, but you might have a shot based on what I saw last night. And Richard, man, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. He says, do you think we will carry 7 receivers since it seems half of our starting receivers are injury prone? I'm going to say no, but that doesn't mean we won't carry a good amount of receivers on our practice squad. I think It used to be 10 players. I think it's 12 now. Maybe somebody in the chat could correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think they expanded it due to the fact that there's 17 games. Maybe it's even 15. I definitely think they expanded it. But yeah, I think they could definitely put a good amount of wide receivers on their practice squad for sure. I don't think we carry more than 6. Last year we only carried 5. So I would be surprised if going into the year we have more than 6. But I do think we'll carry 6. I think we'll go 6. And I think the top 5 are probably locked in, but we don't know with the John Ross injury. I would think it's obviously Tony, Shepard, Slayton, Golladay, Ross, and then that 6th one is up for grabs. It could be David Sills, could be C.J. Board, could be Dante Pettis. I think that 6th one is up for grabs. So, but I think we'll go with 6. I don't think we'll go with 7. People overreacting to needing a backup. Jones goes down. We're screwed regardless. Useless talk, in my opinion. Here's what I'll say about that, Bark. Bark Nasty. Let me just get a sip of water. Here's what I'll say about that. If Jones goes down for like 8 games, you're absolutely right. If Jones misses a long period of time, you're absolutely right. However, if Jones is out like last year for 2 games, 3 games, kind of like Mahomes was a couple of years ago, and they brought in the backup. I think it might have even been last year or 2 years ago, whatever it was. They brought in Matt, I can't remember, Matt Moore, and he kind of rode the ship for 2 weeks. Something like that, I think we could get by. And as a fan, if you have a better backup quarterback, that gives you a better opportunity to win one of those 2 games. So I think that's the way you look at it. But I'm in agreement with you. If Jones misses like 8 or 10 games, that the season we're not winning. We're not going to the playoffs. So I'm in complete agreement with you on that. I think the argument is more so if he misses 2 or 3 games, having a more proven commodity to come in and maybe win a game that maybe you normally wouldn't had you had, Clayton Thorson throwing the football. Chris, why didn't we bring back Colt McCoy? I don't know, Ms. Rai. That's a good question. What's going on there? Gabriel Mannix popping in. Do you think Chandler Jones? No, I don't. I do not think Chandler Jones is in play. I do not think Chandler Jones is in play. Remember, football is like yeah. Tanner can throw better than. Let's see. Michael says if Jones is out for a significant time this year, I'm sorry, but I'm drafting. I agree with you. I'm rooting for Jones this year. I am going to support Jones. I think he could have a good year with the pieces we've got him. We'll see. The proof's in the pudding. We'll see how he does this year. But I'm with you. If Jones misses 5, 6, 7 games, that's now his first 3 years in the league. He's missed time. Yeah, if you have an opportunity to take a quarterback at that point, I think you do it. I'm with you on that. It'd still be a major question mark if he missed 5 or 6 games. I'm with you on that. Let's hope it doesn't happen. But I think I'm with you on that. What's up there, Luke? Man, thanks for popping in the stream, buddy. Chris, yeah, I'm sure he is. He did a 24-hour stream. I got home last night. I had to pass out. But he did a 24-hour stream. I'm sure he still is sleeping. Morse got better than Jones. Let's see what we got here. Young Leo says, who do you think the standout players were in the game versus the Jets? I think Coughlin for sure. I mean, if you're just talking the skill positions, because you said Clement stood out, Sills stood out. I thought Hernandez was the biggest standout for me, though, in terms of impact players for this team. I thought Will Hernandez was the big standout player for me, along with Andrew Thomas. I would say those 2 members of the offensive line were really what I took a positive vibe from at the end of this game. Those 2, because those are going to be guys that are impact players come the beginning of the year. So Hernandez and Thomas was really what I looked at for sure. But yeah, of course, Coughlin had a big game. Let's see what we got here. When will the starters play in preseason? Next game. They're going to play next game. I don't expect them to play a ton. They might play a quarter. They might play a quarter and a half. They might play 2. I don't know, but they're going to play. You're going to see Daniel Jones out there next game. Second and third game. And Judge said he's going to progressively ramp up the playing time. So the third game, at least it sounds like, you're going to see the most of Daniel Jones and the offense and everything else. You're going to, with Tony and Golladay if he's ready and Barkley, which I doubt will play. But you'll see the most of the first team and first team defense and offense the third preseason game. But you're going to see them next game. You're going to see the starters on both sides next game. What's up there, Tony? Man, thanks for popping in the stream, buddy. Papa mentioned Carl Banks considered for the gold jacket at one point. You think he's a whole? Why not? Yeah, I've seen. Yes, why not? Why can't he be a whole? Yes. What happened with Darius Williams? Why did he struggle? He's a rookie. And they were asking. They were moving him all around. They played him in the slot. They played him on the outside. They didn't give him much help at times. He was on an island. He's a rookie. He's a 6th round pick. We can't have our expectations set way too high for these guys. Guys never played an NFL game. It's one thing to look good in practice. It's another thing to look good in a game. That's why. I mean, if we're being honest, amazing guy, go back 2 years. You could sub in Corey Ballantyne for Rodarius Williams. 2 years ago, Corey Ballantyne was the talk of camp. Giants fans said, "Oh, this guy could be a starting cornerback." Once the pads come on and you're playing an actual game, it's a lot different than practice. So there's a reason he's a 6th-round pick. Hopefully, he continues to grow. He's going to make this team, but he's not going to start. He's going to be a backup. Let's see what we got here. Anybody heard who are the 5? I don't think it has to come out till the 17th. The 5 players that are going to get cut, if I'm not mistaken. I think I saw that. I think the dates are. So what I saw, I think they have to cut down from 90 to 85 by the 17th. They have to cut down from 85 to 80 by the 24th, and then they need their final roster in by the 31st. I'm pretty sure those are the dates: the 17th, 24th, 31st. So the 31st, it might have been a 2-week jump. Maybe I'm wrong on that. But I think it was the 31st is your final roster. That game was embarrassing. We're going 3-14. You know what? Everybody's got their own opinion, so I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. But how in the world could you come to the conclusion that the team's going to do anything based off that game? I got a question for you, Dylan. Did Daniel Jones play? No. Did Saquon Barkley play? No. Did Kadarius Toney play? No. Did Kenny Golladay play? No. Did Sterling Shepard play? No. Did Leonard Williams play? No. I go down the list. Did Jabril Peppers play? No. Did James Bradbury play? No. Did Adoree Jackson play? No. How in the world could you come to the conclusion based off that game that they're going to go 3-14? I mean, come on. What's up, Omar, man? Thanks for popping in the stream, buddy. Jets played most of their starters to start the game for sure. Big Pat says, thanks, Tana, because I thought I heard Coach said they had to cut 5. Yeah, well, it's after the preseason game, but it's before. I think what he meant to say was we don't get another preseason game before we have to make cuts. So it's not directly after the preseason game. It's on the 17th. I think that's what he meant. Yeah, I watch Hard Knocks, Giannis. Let's see what we got here. Wow, you guys need to hit that like button. I appreciate that stuff. Yeah, hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell. Thank you to everybody. 179 likes. Let's go. Get it up, guys. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. I figured I'd go live rather than make a video, being that I didn't. I'm going to do this, by the way, after every game. So we're going to have recaps every week, every Monday if they play on a Sunday, midday. Whatever time you guys prefer, 1, 3, we'll figure it out. But I'm going to do a Monday morning quarterback type show where we just recap the game live. Obviously, I'm going to have my post-game video still. I'm still going to stream the games. And then Wednesday, it's going to be more of a broad NFL show with picks and power rankings and all that. And then Friday, we're going to do the preview where we talk about next week's opponent. That's my plan right now. Monday, Wednesday, Friday live during the regular season. Obviously, doing other live streams as well. And what's going on there, football guy, man? Thanks for popping in the stream, buddy. Do you think the team that played was aggressive like Joe Judge said he wants them to play? I mean, again, you're going to get a vanilla playbook on both sides of the ball, offense and defense in preseason. You're not going to get the full repertoire. You're not going to get a real look at your football team in preseason. So I don't expect the defense to show everything. But what I'll say is, no, they looked like they were playing back a lot of zone coverage, at least to start the game. Wasn't ultra aggressive. And I think it's going to depend on opponent. And it's kind of what Joe Judge said when he first took this job. They're going to base their game plan. They're not going to be one specific type of team. One week, they may be ultra aggressive. They may blitz every 3 plays. They may throw the ball 50 times. Another week, they may be ultra conservative. They're going to play to the weaknesses of the opponent they're going up against, and they're going to try to exploit them. So I don't think they're going to be a set type of team. But what I think this team's going to be this year is when they feel like they have the ability to be aggressive against a set opponent, I think they're going to be able to be more aggressive than they were last year based on the fact that they have Adoree Jackson. Obviously a major upgrade over Isaac Yiadom. But I don't expect this team to just have the same exact game plan every single week. It's why I've been saying, and I guess kind of preparing some fans, at least in my opinion, and we'll see. Maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe the Giants will go out there, they'll throw the ball 60 times the first week. But it's why I've been saying the first 2 games, I don't expect it. And I know there's a lot of pressure on Daniel Jones, and I know people want Daniel Jones to throw 9,000 touchdowns and be the next coming of God and this and that. And if he doesn't match Josh Allen, people are going to jump off a bridge. But the first 2 weeks, if I'm Joe Judge, I'm not throwing the ball. I mean, I'll throw it, but I'm not going to go out there and throw the ball 45 times. I'm going up against arguably the best secondary in the NFL with the Denver Broncos. And then I'm going up against arguably the best pass rushers in the NFL with the Washington football team on short rest. So I think they're going to base their game plans based off their opponents. I think the first 2 weeks, the New York Giants come out with a run-heavy approach. They rely on that defense. They don't turn the football over. Then you start to see them open up when they go up against the Atlanta Falcons. Tudo, man. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it, my man. Salute, Chris Goomba. Drop by your office to pay my respects. And for all Giants fans around the world, slap all Eagles fans on my way out, Paisana. Tudo, man. What's going on, my man? Thoughts on Aziz? He's still wet behind the ears. And I'm glad to see you here, Tudo, man. You're the man, dude. He's still wet behind the ears. So he's not going to be a finished product. He had one really good play, a highlight play, where he set the edge. He was able to bounce off Mekhi Becton, set the edge, and then he came in and he made a really nice tackle. So I thought that was a really, really good play. I think Aziz is going to get you 5, 6, 7 maybe sacks. I think he's going to have ups and downs. He's a rookie. There's going to be times you're going to be scratching your head. There's going to be times you're upset, and you got to still remember that he's developing. He's a rookie. You are not talking about Chase Young. We're not talking about a guy that you expect to just jump right in there and be an all-pro level talent. That's not him. He's a guy that could be a very good player, but we got to give him some time to develop. That's my take on Azeez Ojulari. I'm not going to go into the year expecting Justin Tuck, Michael Strahan, but I do think he could be a valuable contributor for this football team. William, man, thank you very much, man, for the $1 super chat. I appreciate that, man. Thanks for popping in. Yeah, Denebo, actually, I like the way they used Denebo. And they didn't really highlight him much, but they kind of moved him around the field. There was 1 or 2 plays, and I can't remember off the top of my head, where he kind of stood out to me. But Denebo's a guy that I do think fits this scheme very well. And I'm ultra excited to see how the New York Giants use him this year. Gettleman's already kind of hinted at the fact that they're going to play him on the outside. We know he could play on the outside. So I think they're going to move him around. I think he's going to get his opportunities. But yeah, there were a couple of plays during the game yesterday where I saw he was making an impact for sure. Let's see what we got here. Let's keep it real. We all could have played better than Thornton, whatever that do. Oh, he's horrible. He's horrible. Clayton Thorson, he's horrible, man. Clement did look good, Steve. What's up there, Chase, man? Thanks for popping in. The 3rd and 18 play on, that was a bad play. Amazing guy. Mims carved us up in the second half. How do you think we'll use, or at least it seemed that way, he made a couple of catches. How do you think we'll use David Sills if he makes the team? I don't think he's going to be a starter. I think he's going to be a guy that comes in if somebody gets hurt, but he's if I had to compare him to a role, he's going to be an exterior receiver. He's going to be the Darius Slayton, Kenny Golladay type role. He's 6'4", so he's going to be that exterior threat if he does get playing time with the New York Giants this year. So that's how I think they'll use him if he makes the team. And what's going on there, Alexander? Man, thanks for popping in the stream, man. Yesterday wasn't even close to being our opening day ride. Of course, Big Pat. I saw my boy Caden Smith out there last night looking hot. Hey, man, we're all into what we're into. We're into what we're into, man. More power to you, man. More power to you. But yeah, Caden Smith got an opportunity yesterday. We're banged up, right? Rudolph banged up. Ingram didn't play, so he was the first string tight end yesterday. What's going on there, Victor, man? Thanks for popping in the stream. IQJ in the chat. He says the O-line looked rough at the beginning, but finished really strong. That's a good. I thought the first unit looked really good outside of the first drive. I thought the first unit looked really good overall. And Adil, man, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. He says, Azeez Ojulari is going to feast with our D-line. I hope so. I hope he has a great year. I hope he wins Rookie of the Year. I hope so. I think he could have a good year. And William, man, thank you very much. New York Giants versus Odell Beckham Jr. next game. William, you're going to see some good quotes this week. You're going to see some good quotes this week doing the inter-squad scrimmages. And the practices and everything else. Odell Beckham, New York Giants. Baker Mayfield's got a little beef with our fan base as well. We got Freddie Kitchens, so a little bit of a storyline there. So you're going to see some good quotes this week. Michael, man, thank you very much. Who you rather play, Winston or Hill? Love the channel. I appreciate that, Michael, man. Thank you very much. I know you're a big New Orleans Saints fan. It's interesting that I've read a lot of people speculate that they think the Saints should start Taysom Hill. And the reason that behind that is that Michael Thomas is out. So they feel like they're going to have to rely more on the run. And they feel like he's a better fit for the way that the team currently is. I think I'd much rather play I'd much rather play Taysom Hill, to be honest with you, because Taysom Hill, to me, is a limited quarterback. He's kind of like Tim Tebow in the sense that I'm not worried that he's going to throw. I'm more worried about the legs. Even though Winston, I think, is a turnover-prone quarterback, I would rather play Taysom Hill, personally, as a New York Giant fan. Melodic, man, thank you very much. Hey, Dana, we were just evaluating guys last night, but I think Ojulari and Odenabo will make noise. I'm with you on that. I think Odenabo, people talk about, and it's a big sleeper, and I don't even know how much playing time the guy's going to get, but people talk about who's going to be the sack leader this year. I wouldn't be surprised if Odenabo's near the sack leaders if he gets the proper playing time. I could see Odenabo having a good role with this defense this year. I really could. Football guy, man, thank you very much. Running back 1, Saquon Barkley. Running back 2, Corey Clement. Running back 3, Booker. Running back 4, Platts. Maybe Platts cover does get that 4th role. If they go with 4 running backs, right? Because Eli Penny's got to be factored in that as well. So they'd have to go with 5 running backs if they were going to bring on a 4th, traditional running back, because Penny's going to make the team. Last year we only went with 4. We went with 3 running backs and the fullback. If they went with 5, I mean, you also got Alfred Morris, right? Who, by the way, Alfred Morris did not look good yesterday. Missed a couple of pass blocks. Hey, who knows? Maybe he's got a shot. I would say that Alfred Morris is probably the favorite, but hey, maybe he continues to play well. It'd be cool if he made the team. I think a lot of fans would be excited. And Entertaining the Source guy, man, thank you very much. Let's go get Gardner Minshew. What do you think? If he's willing to come here for next to nothing, for a backup quarterback rate, he's an upgrade. I wouldn't be opposed to it. I mean, as long as he understands that Daniel Jones is a starter, I wouldn't be opposed to it. As a backup quarter. Yeah, you didn't have to donate again, man. I knew what you meant. But thank you very much. You didn't have to do that, man. Let's see what we got. I appreciate the support, Sauce God. I love the Entertainer Sauce God. I always see you on Twitter. You're like my what is that term again? You're like my you're not a troll. You're my burner account. That's what you are. JD Sports Talk, man, thank you very much. You are going to love the video. Yes, guys. JD Sports Talk is one of the nicest guys I've ever gotten to talk to on YouTube. He's always in my stream, always support me. He's done mainly Knicks content since he started. We just did a Knicks video together. So he asked me to come on. We did a podcast together. It was a really good topic. We talked about Garrett. We talked about Jones. We talked about Judge. We talked about everything. It was really fun. I don't know how long it was, maybe 20, 25 minutes. Great conversation. He's going to have it uploaded on the page soon, so definitely check out his channel and definitely subscribe. Really good subscriber of mine, and I'm glad that you're getting the content going. Says you were going to love the video. What is your biggest takeaway yesterday? Sills locked his spot. Andrew Thomas, I thought, played well. Giants like Mondre Harper. I honestly think the biggest storyline for me, at least, was the first unit, the offensive line. I thought that, like you said, Andrew Thomas for sure looked good. There were times he got beat, but he showed good recovery. He didn't allow the defender to get over the edge. So I thought he had a good game. But the guy that really stood out to me, I'm going to continue to say it, JD, I thought Will Hernandez was terrific. Yeah, it was visibly evident the impact that his athletic ability. He's much more athletic than he's been in the past with the weight loss that he was able to bring in. So I was really pumped up about Will Hernandez yesterday. But for me, it was Thomas and Hernandez. Sills, of course, Carter Coughlin, man, even though it was against second and third units, looked really good in the middle linebacker spot as well. So those were some of the takeaways that I had from the game in terms of from a positive standpoint. Jake, man, thank you very much, man, for the 99-cent donation, man. I really appreciate it, buddy. And let's see what we got here. Adam in the chat, he says, according to Giants Wire, Judge said Kadarius Toney didn't play because he suffered a setback with an undisclosed injury. Yeah, that's what I heard. I just assumed he wasn't going to play, to be honest with you, before the game started. I thought I read that. But somebody else said he was punished. I don't know. Regardless, he didn't play. I expect him to be out there game number 2. Even if he wasn't hurt, I don't think he was going to play yesterday. I don't think they planned on playing the starters, and he hasn't been in camp as long as others. David, man, thank you very much. Had a great time at the game last night. The fumble in the fourth quarter was great, but more work needs to be done. We can't fumble. Of course not, man. And I'm glad that you had a fun time, man. Again, don't read too much into it. Obviously, you don't like when your team fumbles. Corey Clement's got to hold on to the football. But don't get too bummed out about a preseason loss in which we didn't play any of our starters. But I'm glad that you had fun. And hopefully we're ready to go week 1 against the Denver Broncos. Hopefully I get to meet you at one of the games, David, man. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. Let's see what we got. By the way, anybody that is in here, I just want to say, man, that anybody that is in here that may have been at FanFest that I got to meet, man, I can't say thank you enough to all you guys that were there, man. I had so much fun. You guys made my day. Like, I did not expect that. I was blown away by all the support that you guys showed, man. I had so much fun, and I can't say thank you enough. All the people I got to talk to that said, "Oh my God, your channel means the world to me." It was just cool to get to talk Giants with you guys. So thank you guys. And Tudo, man, thank you very much. What's the smallest room in the world? Construction site portable in the Philadelphia Eagles football team Hall of Fame. Tuto. Tuto's always come with the Eagles jokes. That's why I love him. Anybody that hates the Eagles is a friend of mine. MY Giants 26, man. Thank you very much, man. And Johnny says, it was great to meet you. It was great to meet you too, Johnny, man. MY Giants 26 says, what's up, Chris? Sorry I'm late. My grandma's well, I'm sorry to hear that. My grandma's doing well right now. Just got out of the hospital. Boring game last night. Didn't expect much, though. Well, I hope your grandma feels better. That's what's most important. But, yeah, I mean, obviously there wasn't a lot of high-flying action. It was a low-scoring game. I thought it would be, especially being that none of our starters were going to play. But I think there were some good things countless times going into that preseason game, knowing that Jones wasn't going to play, knowing that, we weren't going to have the first-team wide receivers in there. What the unit that I was really going to be looking at was going to be the was going to be the offensive line. So that that was my takeaway. I was encouraged by the first unit of the offensive line overall. Simon, man, thank you very much. Broski, I'm headed to Vegas right now. Never would have dreamt. That's awesome, man. Put 50 on red for me, man. Good luck, buddy. By the way, I plan. Yeah, that's a fake, Tana. I plan on going to Vegas for the NFL draft next year. I plan on. I think I'm going to do it. I think it would be cool content. Maybe have a show at Vegas. But I plan on doing that. It's an excuse to go to Vegas, and it'd be cool to go to an NFL draft. I've never been to one. Football guy, man, thank you very much. Biggest love, of course, man. Come on time to the chat. I appreciate it, football guy, man. Thank you so much for being here. I always get to talk to you on Twitter as well, man. You're a great supporter of mine as well, man. Let's see what we got here. Chris, you skipped my dono? Sorry, Nick. Hold on one second. I didn't mean to. Oh, it was you know why? Because it was a super sticker. It's hard to pick up on the I got it here. Little fist bump. Nick, man, what's going on? I got to meet Nick too, man. Nick's awesome. Nick is huge. We could put him on the offensive line next to Bobby. But Nick, man, thanks so much for popping the stream, man. And thank you so much for the Darnay Holmes helmet. I'm gonna start posting that in my videos as well, man. I can't say thank you enough, man. We lost to the Jets, we're gonna suck. Oh no, Dylan, you said that earlier, man. Enough, man. Hey, Chris, Clayton Dorsett's wife actually left him after the game. If that's true, I couldn't blame her. I couldn't blame her if that's actually true. And it probably is. It probably is. I completely believe that story. When is the 24-hour stream for me? I don't know. Probably around never. You'd have to be nuts to do that. The only way I would ever do a 24-hour stream, and maybe I will, maybe I won't, everything would go to like a charity. That's the only way I would do it. It would have to go towards like a cause I was really passionate about. But even then, I don't think I could do it. I think I would literally die doing it 24. I don't know how somebody could sit in a chair for 24 hours and talk to a chat. It's hard for me to do it for 3 hours. I don't know how you do it. And then we got time, man. Thank you very much. What's up, Chris? Did you draft Claypool? I did. Okay, I'm going to tell you, actually. I actually posted on Twitter. And hold on one second. This is my fantasy football lineup. You ready? It's a 2-quarterback league. Now, I didn't draft Claypool. I kept Claypool. It's a keeper league where you keep the players based off the round that you drafted them the previous year. So I drafted Claypool last year. I drafted him in the 18th round, which is the last round of the draft. I kept him in the 18th round because I did that. So this is my team. 2-quarterback league. Got to start 2 quarterbacks, PPR. I'm just going to give you my starting lineup. Lamar Jackson, Kirk Cousins. Those are my 2 starters. My backups are both 49ers quarterbacks. I got the handcuff. I got Trey Lance. I got Jimmy Garoppolo. So who's ever starting is going to be my primary backup. Saquon Barkley, you knew I had to have him. Antonio Gibson, who I also kept. Keenan Allen, Chris Godwin, Robert Woods, Kyle Pitts. My flex is Chase Claypool / Travis Etienne. Haven't decided who it's going to be. And the defense, the Washington football team. Dire Giants fan, man. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it, buddy. He says, "Come on, Tana, the 50K promise. You got this." And I might pass out. I might pass out. We'll see. We'll see when I get the 50K. But Dire is the man, dude. Thank you very much. And JD, man, thank you very much. Draft strategy on your fantasy team. Okay, I'm not like a fantasy expert, even though I should have brought down my fantasy trophy. It's like I've won the league 4 times out of like the last 10 years, so I'm pretty good. At least in that format. My fantasy strategy this year, the only strategy I had going in, make sure I secure 2 of the top 10 or 11 running backs because the position is ultra thin. Once you get past like the top 10 or 11, you're drawing at straws. So that was my strategy going in. I said I have to get 2 of the top 10 or 11 running backs on my football team because it is really thin after that. It's much more thin than previous years. And win the Super Bowl this year. That's right, Ms. Ryan, man. Thanks for popping in. And Authentic says, yeah, well, I mean, I think Herbert's going to take a big step up this year, so that's why I drafted him. You should have gotten Elijah Moore. I'm good. I don't need Jets. Joseph says, I cannot see them playing the starters the last preseason game a lot next game. I think we're going to – Joe, I'm telling you right now, that's at least what I read. Maybe that won't be the case, but Judge basically said – and it's not like a normal year, right? It's not 4 games. It's 3. And you have a big break. Like, I think there's like almost a 2-week break between the last preseason game and the opening game of the year. I think they're going to play the starters the third game. I do. I think they're going to play the starters the third game. I think it's going to be a little bit next week and then the most the third week. At least that's the way it sounded. I know traditionally you don't do that when there's 4 games, but usually you would have played them in the first, and then you wouldn't have played them in the fourth. They didn't play them in the first. I think they're going to play them a little in the second, and I think they're going to play them the most in the third. That's what it sounds like, at least. A step up for Herbert would be, it's going to be tough for Herbert to do better than he did last year. I think he threw like 31 touchdowns. Do you think Nico Lalos will make the team? I think he's got a shot, Tom. I was impressed with him yesterday. He was a guy I made a note of, actually. He had 2 really good plays. I think he's got a shot. I think Lalos has a shot to make this team. Yes. I'm not going to guarantee it, but yeah, I definitely think he has a shot. And, a guy that I thought was definitely going to make it maybe like a month ago was Ryan Anderson. Haven't heard much about him. He's buried on the depth chart. So a guy like Nico Lalos may get his spot. So I definitely think he's got a good opportunity to make this team, Tom, 100%. And he actually played pretty good for the Giants last year when he got an opportunity. Remember, I think he recovered an interception or a fumble. He played pretty well for us when he got an opportunity. Kyle, man, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. He says, like I told Bando yesterday, my only concern are our backup quarterbacks, which played like ass. And our O-line. Well, the backup O-line was bad. Hopefully they could get it together. Kyle, the backup offensive line yesterday was dreadful. It was really bad. So I'm completely with you on that, my man. Completely with you on that. I've been looking at bro, that linebacker forgot his name. We have sucked. I don't know which linebacker you're talking about, Rizrahi. Now with Brunson out, yes, good point. Especially with Brunson out, Lalos will probably definitely make the team. Good point. And what's up there, Kaden, man? Thanks for popping in, buddy. Do you think Jason Garrett will take snaps? Hey, he's a former quarterback, Dan. He might be an improvement. He might be an upgrade over Clayton Thorson. Jason Garrett may actually be an upgrade. It's not. Now, the Giants did try that. They did bring in, I think it was the assistant offensive line coach, Dan. So that's a good point you bring up. He took snaps during the Fan Fest because they were so thin at that position. Maybe Garrett will play third-string quarterback. Let's see what we got here. I wasn't impressed by anything at all. All right, that's fair. I mean, everybody's got their own opinion when they watch the game. I think there were things I was impressed by. There were things I was not. But to be fair, none of the starters played outside of the offensive line. Let's see what we got here. Chris, I'm so hyped for this season. I was at the game yesterday in a suite. Oh, that's awesome, man. Vasily, man. I'm glad that you had fun. Kadarius Toney used to play quarterback. I would play him over Glennon and Thorson. I doubt I would do that. I saw him throw a football. They showed a highlight during one of the practices, and he throws it far. I think he threw it about 55 or 60 yards, but didn't look like he had like great form or anything like that. But I definitely think he's a guy that's going to throw some footballs this year on trick plays. Didn't see Gary Brightwell, to my knowledge. I didn't watch like the last maybe like 4 minutes, but I didn't see Gary Brightwell, if I'm not mistaken, Marte, play yesterday. Maybe he played in special teams, but I don't think I saw him get a handoff. I didn't look at the box score, though. Matt Barrett struggled big time. He struggled on the first drive. After that, I thought Matt Barrett did a good job. The first drive, obviously, was bad. That third play was horrible. Bring back Laletta. Oh, God. We cut him because he like drink and drive or something like that. You think Brightwell's hurt? I don't think he played. I should have played. I would have blown out the Jets by myself, Evan Ingram says. Andrew says, in my opinion, this is Andrew Thomas's breakout season. He played one drive, but in one snap. No, he played more than one drive, I think. Andrew. I think he definitely played more than one drive. But in one snap, threw a 6'3", 235-pound edge to the ground. It was an incredible play. Yep, I saw it. He got by him a little bit at the beginning, and then he took him and he threw him down to the ground like a rag doll. But he played more than one drive. He took 11 passing snaps. He probably played, I don't know, 3 drives, 4 drives. Chris, man, thank you very much. I believe Jones will be as bad as he was last year. I just have no confidence in him. Why should I? Hey, and if I'm not saying you're going to be wrong. I mean, at right now, it's all prediction, right? And I get it, right? For fans that went into last year with super high expectations coming off the 24 touchdown performance, he was a big letdown. And he was. And I could go for days as to why I think at least partially why that was. You have your own opinion. I think he's going to be better. And I think it's obvious to what I'm going to tell you. My reasoning as to why I think Daniel Jones is going to be better, but I'll do it. Second year in the scheme, that helps. Last year was wet behind the ears, had never played in the Jason Garrett scheme, didn't have a preseason to get acclimated to it, didn't have preseason games, training camps to get acclimated to it because of the virus. So it was the first year in a new scheme. The offensive line had never played together. Nick Gates had never played center. You had a rookie left tackle. You had a rookie right tackle. Like, these guys had never played together before. That was a disadvantage. You had a new coach, never had any time to prepare. And you didn't have Saquon Barkley, by the way, the whole year. The most important player on the offense did not have Saquon Barkley the whole year. You add Kenny Golladay. You add Kadarius Toney. I would challenge you, and obviously the offensive line is a huge question mark. But in terms of weaponry, I would challenge you to tell me a quarterback, when you factor in that he added Saquon Barkley, if Barkley's healthy, we all hope, we all pray, I would challenge you to find me a quarterback that added better players at the skill positions this year, who made more impactful additions. When you factor in that he added Barkley, didn't have him last year, he added Golladay, he added Toney, he added Ross, he added Rudolph. That's the reasoning as to why I think he's going to be better this year. Richard, man, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. What I seen was some individual effort, but zero team effort. It's expected when so many are trying to shine individually for a potential spot. It's a good point. Obviously, they're all competing against one another, so it's a good point. You're trying to stand out. I'm sure that may have had something to do with it. And Christian, man, thank you very much. He says, my question is, if everything around him has to be perfect, is he worth pay even if he's good? No, my answer to that is also no, but I would actually combat that with everything is not perfect. It's not even close to being perfect. We still have a below average offensive line. What I'm going to say is I think this year Jones has a fair opportunity. I don't think he had a fair opportunity last year. I think he has a fair opportunity to be evaluated. I don't care. It's year 3, okay? If Jones does, I don't care if it's the offensive line this year. That's unfortunate. Football is not a fair game. If the offensive line is still mediocre to bad, it doesn't matter. If Jones struggles because of that, you're going into year 4 at that point. If you have an opportunity to take a quarterback, you do it. Jones has to improve this year. He has to become a better quarterback. He doesn't have a perfect situation, though. There's no denying it. Last year, we had the second worst offensive line in all of football. And we did nothing to improve that outside of more experience with the younger players. And we lost Kevin Zeitler. So he definitely doesn't have a perfect situation. You want to talk about a quarterback that has a perfect situation, I'll take you over to Cleveland. We're going to be playing them this week. I'll show you their offensive line. I'll show you their running game. I'll show you their weapons. That's a perfect situation, Baker Mayfield. Daniel Jones does not have a perfect situation. He has a better situation. Last year, I would equate his situation to hell. He had no line. He had a new scheme, and his best weapon went down week 1. Keith, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. Laps for Clement tomorrow, baby. Can't wait to shut up some people this year. That good cricket sound. Let's go, Keith, man. Hey, listen, man, when you fumble the football, I'm sure Joe Judge is going to make you run laps. There's no doubt about it. And I hope we do. I hope we do get an opportunity to shut some people up this year. That's for damn sure. I can't see Jones doing worse than 12. He's not. He's going to be better this year. The question is he going to be better enough? Like, he's got to win games. I'm not a stats guy. He's got to win games. He's got to come up big in big moments. But yeah, no, there's no way this offense is going to be as bad as it was last year. I'd be shocked if the offense didn't improve this year. And Simon, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. He says Getty 100% deserves the boot. I agree. And you know I try to be as fair as I can with Gettleman. I hope I'm wrong. I have questions about the offensive line for sure. I think that's our biggest question mark going into the year. And I'm not saying the offensive line has to be great, but if the offensive line isn't satisfactory this year, Gettleman's got to go. If that affects the offense and we lose games because of it, Gettleman's got to go. That's all I heard when he first took the job. O-line, 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 O-line. We're headed on year 4. This O-line has to take a step up this year. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Let's see what we got here. Rafael says, Will Hernandez was looking quick. Yeah, Will Hernandez looked like a different player yesterday, Rafael. What's up, Danny? Can Board and Sills make the team? I don't think both can. Unless there's an injury. If Ross is hurt or something, then maybe, yes. But if the wide receiver core stays healthy, no, I think only one can make it. Are the Jets better than the Giants? No. No. If the Giants played their starters yesterday, I think the Giants would have beat them by 10 points. Maybe more. No, the Jets are not better than the Giants. Giants didn't play anybody, and the Jets did. If the Jets didn't win that game, you should be very concerned if you were a Jets fan. But no, the Jets are not better than the Giants. Let's see what we got here. Hope just but by the way, what's going on there, Dust on the Man? Thanks for popping in the stream, buddy. I don't think Nate Solder played, Robert. I don't think he played. I don't remember. I don't think he did. Nick, man, thank you very much. Tree fell down in my yard. Headphones in. Listen, I appreciate that, Nick, man. Hopefully everything works out for you there. It's not even a storm. How did that happen? Eric, man, thank you very much. Brightwell didn't play. Yeah, Brightwell didn't play last night. Somebody in the chat said that he might have been injured. He didn't play last night. He might not make this team. He might not. There's actually a good chance he won't. Could be on the practice squad year 1. Oh, he did play? Then I missed that, money man. Then I missed that. That was my mistake. I missed that then. Chris, did Lemieux not play yesterday? Because, yes, injury. He's had injuries, Simon. Yes, he's supposedly back, but they probably felt like he wasn't 100% a go to play. But he's been practicing. But yes, he's been injured throughout camp. So he didn't play. Yeah, I didn't think I saw Nate Solder. And what's going on there, Gravedigger, man? Thanks for popping in the stream, buddy. And that one guy says, I don't know if you've gotten this question, but which of the rookie quarterbacks were you most impressed by? Well, Trey Lance was like 5. I didn't get to watch all the games, but Trey Lance was like 5 for 13, so I'm assuming he wasn't ultra impressive. I know that Fields was like 14 for 20, but from what I heard, he really struggled at the beginning, and then when he went up against the worst defense, that's where he really took off. But obviously 70% completion, people said he looked good. But again, I think he fumbled twice, and he struggled when he was going up against a better defense. And then I didn't get to see Lawrence. I haven't gotten to see Lawrence yet. I saw Zach Wilson. What I'll say about Zach Wilson is obviously he was going up against a second-team defense, and he didn't put the ball in the end zone. But what I will say about Zach Wilson, I was impressed by some of his throws. He made like 3 throws yesterday when I was watching the game, and I was like, yeah, this guy's good. He had some good zip on his throws. He led his receivers before the break. I like some of the things that I saw from Zach Wilson if I was a Jets fan yesterday. But again, you got to factor in who they were going up against in terms of the second unit and the fact that he didn't score. But I saw some skills from Zach Wilson yesterday. Let's put it that way. We should have taken Trey Smith over. That's like the big thing on Twitter right now, John. I've seen it all over. Trey Smith over. Yeah, and then I think Art Stapleton said that the Giants were concerned with Trey Smith's medical report. And at the end of the day, I'm not going to flip out over a 6th-round draft pick. Trey Smith he won the 6th round for a reason. He more than likely would not have started for this team, but could have provided his depth. I'm not going to flip out about it, but I definitely see, why some people definitely question it, being that Brightwell's probably not even going to make the team. And I think, from what people said, Trey Smith has looked pretty solid with the Chiefs. Yeah, I was joking. I heard a Jets fan saying they are the best. Oh, yeah, I mean, you're going to get that. They won the game, so they think they're better. But that game meant nothing in terms of who's better. True Apple says, Christian, man, you guys give me so much. I have so much fun coming on here talking Giants with you guys. And like I said, I'm going to be doing a lot more live streams because, I don't know, I love doing the live streams. Talking to you guys for a couple of hours, 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's the plan for now. And if they grow and I got more stuff to talk about, maybe we'll do it 5 days a week. We'll see. But I'm going to start with Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Recap game Monday, broad NFL Wednesday with picks and everything else. And then Friday preview of the upcoming opponent where we jump into everything. The injury report, things that I've found, things I like, strengths, weaknesses. Maybe get an opposing YouTuber on each week if I can. It's not always easy to do that. But if we're playing, Washington, maybe get a Washington YouTuber on. And I'm also going to continue to do those night before streams where I have you guys on. That's probably what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to have like 2 or 3 Giants content creators on and obviously the show with Bad Dog. But I'm probably going to have like 1 or 2 other Giant content creators on a week. and then have you guys phone in one at a time, ask your questions. We're probably going to do that the night before. And Eric, man, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. He says Trevor Lawrence stats 6 for 9, only 71 yards. Okay, yeah, I heard. I didn't get to watch him, if I'm being honest, but I heard that he looked okay. I saw a little bit of Fields. I know his final stat line, and obviously I saw Zach Wilson. And Tuto, my man. Yeah, we always do the games together, Robert. I just couldn't do the game last night. But I think next week's game is going to be here. The third preseason game will be there. First regular season game. We go back and forth. So, yeah, I'm going to do all the games bad, though. Tuto, man, thank you very much. All championship caliber teams are about ownership, management, coaching, training, and preparation, paisanos. The players are just the pieces of the puzzle. I mean, at the end of the day, you're right. I mean, football, you definitely need talent to win. There's no denying it, for sure. But football, I mean, if New England proved it. I think coaching is football is the one sport where you could at least make an argument that coaching is equally as important to the talent on your team. Basketball, talent wins. Baseball, talent wins. I don't think the manager has a dramatic impact in baseball. Hockey, I don't know well enough. Football, coaching is ultra important. The most talented team in the NFL does not always win. No denying that. And Matt, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. He says, for my sanity, please give me some optimism with our offense. I want to believe we're sandbagging our talent, but I'm nervous. Hey, man, I'm not going to be able to give you a well-informed opinion about our offense until I get to see it. Last night, we didn't get to see it. But if you want optimism, the first thing I'll say to you is you should not base your opinion on this year's offense off of yesterday's game. Because, quite frankly, the offense didn't play. You didn't have Jones. You didn't have Tony. You didn't have Golladay. You didn't have Barkley. You didn't have our offense. You were missing your starting running back, your 3 or 4 starting wide receivers. I think Slayton played a drive. And you're missing your starting quarterback. So that's what I'll say to you. Don't get bent out of shape off the performance yesterday. They didn't play. Let's wait to see what the first unit looks like, the second preseason game against the Browns. And even then, I'm going to tell you haven't seen the full offense because you're not going to see Barkley. You're probably not going to see Golladay. You'll see Jones. So I'm not going to be able to, I'm going to continue to say this. I don't think I'm going to have a full grip on this offense until probably week 3 or maybe even 4. Because the first 2 weeks, we're going up against really good defenses. And if Barkley plays, he's not going to be getting a ton of touches, at least in my opinion, at least the first game. And Golladay is not going to have real chemistry yet with Daniel Jones, being that he's missed so much time. So for me to get a full grip on this offense, I think it's going to be week 3, week 4, before I really start to be able to dig my teeth into it and say, okay, let's see what we got. I think the first 2 weeks, the defense is going to have to really win those football games. If Ingram's catch the ball, he'll be a threat. Ingram's gonna get opportunities, man. And Rajiv, man, he says, I miss football so much. I turned on the TV last night, and the first thing I saw was Rodarius Williams' fumble recovery. So you watched the end of the game. That was in the fourth quarter. All-American, bro. What's up there, Jay? All-American Burger's fantastic. What do you make of Daniel Jones' interception videos in practice? Oh, you're talking about – funny story about that. I don't know if he's in the stream or at Conmac, one of my subscribers who's in my Discord, he was at FanFest, and he's the guy that filmed that video. And then it blew up all over. It was on Bleacher Report. It was all over Twitter. He was the guy that actually filmed it from his phone. But I think you're talking about the interception at FanFest. The only thing that made sense to me, and maybe it was just the worst throw of all time, but I don't know, man. I know some people said that the wide receiver ran the wrong route. The only thing that made sense to me, if you go back and watch that play, Will Hernandez completely whiffed. He completely whiffed on his block, and obviously in practice, you can't sack the quarterback. So in a real game, Daniel Jones is dead. So the only thing that made sense to me when I watched it back 3 or 4 times, because I was trying to understand what I was watching, because there was not a wide receiver within 20 yards, was that Jones just said to himself, oh, I got sacked. I'm going to throw the ball away. But it's possible he just made the worst throw of all time, or maybe the wide receiver ran the wrong route. I don't know. I'm not going to go crazy and flip out over one clip like that. I don't think that's going to be the norm for Daniel Jones making throws like that this year, but it was definitely, I guess a concerning clip. And, All-American's phenomenal, G-Man John. You look like you need some sleep at the end. You have some bags on you. King Blue, man, we push forward, man. More worried about the reports of our atrocious O-line. Okay, here's what I'm going to say about that. I think the first unit offensive line was not atrocious. The second unit was horrible. So the starters, I think, were actually pretty good. Actually, I would even venture to say that the starters outside of the first drive, and Wiggins was part of that, who's not a starter, was better than I thought they were going to be. The second unit was awful, but I think there was positives actually out of the first unit yesterday. The second unit, not so much. Second unit was really bad. I think we gave up 13 pressures, but only one was from the first unit. I think that's what I read. What's up there, Nona Man? Thanks for popping in the stream, buddy. That works if it's a time. Yeah. How do you think Reese John played? Yeah, I talked about him a little bit. He was impressive. He was better than I thought he would be. I was impressed with Reese John. I think he's got an opportunity to make the team depending on if Rudolph's ready to go or depending on if they're going to go with 4 tight ends. But I was impressed with Reese John. Looked like he had good hands. Looked like he was a pretty good blocker. He was one of the guys that stood out for me. Yes. What's up there, Jameson? Man, thanks for popping in. Yeah, no, I agree with you. Zach Wilson looked pretty good, but it was against the second unit. And Jai, what's going on? Tana, what do you think of the taunting rule they're implementing? I must have missed that, if I'm being honest with you. I did. Somebody explained the taunting rule. I'm assuming you get penalized, but somebody explained the taunting rule. I happily subscribe because you're a fan, optimistic, but not blind to your fault. I appreciate that, Matt. Hey, listen, at the end of the day, I always say it. I'm a fan. I'm obviously I try my best to, I guess, analyze the team because I know that's what you guys come here to do, but I'm a fan. You're gonna get a fan's perspective, but I try to be as unbiased as I can. But I appreciate it, man. But yeah, as far as the taunting rule goes, I must have missed that. I didn't hear about that. But I'm assuming you get a penalty if you. It's so ass. I'm going to tag you in a video on Twitter. Okay, Jai, let me know. I'll check it out. And NY Giants 26, man, thank you very much. Keep Damian Willis around, run some nice routes and a touchdown. Yeah, I don't think on the practice squad. I think he can make the practice squad. I don't think he's making the team. But yeah, he looked pretty impressive yesterday. And I think Bob Papa pointed it out, actually. And for a second, I got slightly confused. I saw 87. And I'm like, is that Shep? Is Shep back on the field? But no, Shep's obviously wearing number 3 this year. But I got slightly confused there for a second. Tuna, man, thank you very much. He says, if DJ and the O-line don't show any improvements and lose the first game, Getty should get sacked immediately with his farm. Tudo, I am not going to – listen, I'll definitely be disappointed. I will definitely be mad if we put forth a really bad effort the first week. I'm not going to be calling for any heads. I'm preparing you guys now. I know you guys are, and I know a lot of you guys are going to be telling me that I should be. You guys know me. After one game, I am not going to be calling for any heads, whether it be Daniel Jones, whether it be Gettleman, whoever. I'm not doing that after one game. I'm giving them a fair opportunity. I'm going to give them week 3, week 4, week 5. And then, if this offense is not starting to click, you're going to see me and Dana. But I'm not going to flip out after one game. Obviously, I will say they played horribly if they do, but I'm not going to be calling for jobs after one game. What's going on there, New York Light Man? Thanks for popping in the stream, buddy. Was at the game, had a front row seat of Clement's fumble, Kalen says. That was tough. That was tough, man. It was a good hit, but you got to hold on to the football. Zach Wilson came up like a Drew Brees type player. It's funny you say that. When Jet fans always, and I'm not saying he's going to be Drew Brees, but he's the guy. The way he scans the field reminds me of Drew Brees. I've said that a few times. It's the second unit, guys. And I am impressed with Zach Wilson. I think he's going to be good, but it was the second defense. Check Twitter when you can. All right, Jai. I'll check it now, actually, so that way I could talk about it in the stream. Let me see. I'm assuming you added me. You didn't send me a message. Maybe you sent me a message. No, you didn't. Okay, you added me. Let me see. I don't see it. I don't see it, Jai. Oh, here it is. Okay. All right. This is an example of a taunting the league. All right, let me show it. In the chat. So I get, because I was not aware of this new rule. And Hornyton, I'll get to it in 1 second. Hornyton, man, thank you very much. What a game for Evan Ingram. I mean, 0 drops. He should sit down. I'll show it to the chat now. Hold on 1 second. Chrome tab. Share. Make this a little bit bigger. Okay, let me play it. So I guess this is an example of the new rule, the taunting penalty. So all right, so the guy runs a long route, and then he flexes. They threw a flag for that? Are you kidding me? Wait. This guy hold on, let me turn up the volume. This guy carries like 10 guys. This guy pulls a Mark Bavaro, and he gets up and he flexes his muscles once or twice, and he gets a penalty for it. Are you kidding me? Oh my God. And now my computer's frozen. Hold on one second, guys. You're not going to see me. Well, oh, wait. Maybe now you will. That's what I get for showing Twitter. Now my computer's frozen. Let me see. I should be back momentarily. I don't know if you can still hear me. I can read the chat. NY Giants 26, man. Thank you very much. He says, going to California tomorrow at 5 a.m. Will you be live next weekend for Giants? Yes, I will. Giants versus Browns game going to be at 10 a.m. in Cali. Going to Met. I thought it was a night game. It's a 1 o'clock game. I thought it was a night game. You can hear me. Somebody says we can hear you. As long as you can hear me, this should fix itself momentarily. As long as you guys can hear me. So yeah, sorry about that, but let me just get rid of this, the Photoshop. As long as you guys can hear me, and I will be right back because now it kicked me out. No, it didn't. I'm just trying to close things out because maybe that has something to do with it. You're good. I appreciate that, Giant Opinion Sportsman. Thanks, popping in last night. I said, okay, you hear me. You're good. Just frozen right now. Okay, I'm frozen, but you can hear me. All right. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna just X out of the Google Chrome. I'm gonna try to. Oh wait, now I think we're good. Now I think it's back. Maybe. Yeah, I think we're back now. Okay. Let me just expand this, and we will get rid of that. I think we're good now. I think we're good. Maybe I'm slightly frozen, but regardless, you can hear me. And NY Giants 26, he says, going to the Met game at night, Giants on at 10. Oh, really? So I thought it was a night game. It's a day game on Sunday? I'll be calling it regardless. You're good. Okay, we good. Okay. As long as you can hear me. Because it's frozen on my end. Lagging a little. Okay. I could close it out and come right back in if that maybe will fix it. But third pick, such a disappointment now. Aaron Robinson joins the group with an injury kit. He's been hurt all at training camp, Mike. Aaron Robinson. He's been hurt all at training camp, unfortunately. Giants defense kind of reminds me of the Steelers back in 2019, but better secondary and worse pass rush. Well, I hope that's the case, man. I mean, the Steelers defense last year specifically, it was phenomenal. 2019, it was really good too. 2019, after you made the acquisition of, what's his name, the guy from the Dolphins, your defense was awesome. Last year, you guys were great too. I think you're going to have a great defense this year as well. It's delayed a bit. Okay. I mean, I could X out and X back in. You'll lose me for a minute. I could try that. Hold on one second. I'm going to X out. I'll be right back in, and hopefully that fixes it. Should be better now. Should be better now. What time is it now? 4:29. Okay. Let me know. Should be better now. So sorry about that. I guess because I pulled up the Twitter, slowed it down. I don't know. There we go. That's okay, Nona. Am I wrong assuming Kyle Rudolph is going to be an asset in protection? Matt says. Yeah, no, I don't think you're wrong in that. I think he's a solid blocker. I think that's part of the reason why we brought him in. He's also going to help in the red zone. So no, I don't think you're wrong in that. He's not known to be like an incredible blocker. Like that's not like, but yes, I think he's definitely an improvement for us. And that's part of the reason why we brought him in. 2 tight end sets. He's going to be a solid blocker for us for sure, but also in the red zone. It's better now. Okay, MY fine. It's good to know, man. Your hairdresser's still on holidays. What's up, Alzo, man? Quick story about my hat, and Authentic's in here, so he knows I had to take my hat off, and I left it in Pest's car. So my hat, I got to get a new hat. because my hat right now is in Washington, D.C. or Virginia, wherever Pence lives. So I got to get a new hat. So that's why the hair's out right now. Normally, I'd be wearing a hat. And Tudo, man, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. He says, Getty has had 3 years and millions to spare to reconstruct the New York Giants with significant improvements. Time's up, Getty. Forget about it. I agree. It's a put up or shut up year. Forget him. There's no denying. I'm going to give him the year, but it's a put up or shut up year. Forget him, and then forget him. We have to be at least an 8 or 9 win team, and Jones has to take a big step forward, and the offensive line has to be improved. That's what I'll say. And if that does not happen, I'm going to be all aboard making a move at the general manager position, because 4 years. I mean, the offensive line has to start to get better. That was your mission statement. I'm with you on that. You only have one hat. I only have one Giants. I have 2 Giants hat, but the other one's old. It's all beat up. So I'm going to get a new Giants hat. That's all. I'm not a big hat guy. I just wear them on streams. I have a Knicks hat. I have a Mets hat. Got a couple of Giants hats. Great, man. Thank you very much. We can afford a second Will Hernandez contract if he plays well this year. Tough decision with him and Pep on the horizon. Feel like you got to lean O-line. If so, I'm with you. You know, we talk about continuity. If Will Hernandez is good this year, I think they're bringing him back. Especially if Gettleman's still here. Gettleman drafted him. I think they're bringing him back. You know, I think they're going to want to keep this core together if it's within reason. But if Hernandez plays well this year, I do think the Giants are going to extend him. I agree with you. I think he'd be extended before Peppers, because here's my reasoning behind that, Grim. And I know that Gettleman also traded for Peppers. And I hope they keep Peppers. I'm not saying I don't want to bring back Peppers. But the reason I am leaning that they would sooner look, if Hernandez plays well, look to bring back Hernandez over Peppers is this. They didn't address the offensive line at all this year. They didn't draft an offensive line. They put faith in Will Hernandez. They put faith in the guys that they have. They drafted McKinney 2 years ago. They signed Logan Ryan last year. So to me, it, at least from my point of view, looks like they're setting it up to potentially replace Jabril Peppers. They drafted another guy in the secondary this past year. If Hernandez plays well, I think they're bringing Hernandez back. That's my prediction. If he sucks, no. But if he plays well, I think they're bringing him back. If Gettleman's gone, do we replace DJ if he doesn't have a stellar year? I mean, my quick answer to you would probably be yes. If Gettleman is gone, he's the guy that drafted him. And if Jones is bad, you're bringing in a new GM that's going to want to bring in his quarterback. So, yes. If Jones stinks, Gettleman's gone, and we get a new quarterback. And I don't want to think about it. I want Jones to go out there this year and throw 49 touchdowns. Actually, I want him to break Peyton Manning's record. I want him to throw 56 touchdowns. I want the Giants to go 17-0, and I want him to win a Super Bowl. I don't want to think about failure. I want to think about going out there and winning football games. Of course, I don't expect that. But I want him to improve. I want him to get better. I want the New York Giants to win football games, and I want us to start to go down the right path. Let's see what we got here. Tony shits on right tackle. What's up, MH, man? Glad to see you, buddy. I disagree with that. Jay Fleming says Joe Judge goes if Dave Gettleman goes. I disagree with that. But what I will say is Joe Judge is on the hot seat if Dave Gettleman goes. Because if Gettleman goes, Giants had a bad year. I think they're giving Judge another year after this year, but he's on the hot seat. If Gettleman goes, Joe Judge has to give results year 3. I'll say that right now. But I don't think he'll be fired. It's a possibility, but I don't see it happening. That's a quality crack you're smoking thinking Jones is a quarterback. I guess. I mean, I hope he proves you guys wrong. 2021 top 100 players is on right now. Let me guess. They already announced that, I thought, Authentic, but maybe that was maybe you're watching, maybe that was ESPN, and maybe now it's NFL Network. But I thought I saw a top 100 list. But if I had to guess, Giants that'll be on the top 100, Leonard Williams, James Bradbury. Probably not Barkley because he got hurt. Leonard Williams, James Bradbury, maybe Martinez. Maybe Logan Ryan. Definitely James Bradbury and Leonard Williams. Sticky fingers, man. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. He says, if we are winning games, we can afford to bring back everyone. I promise. If we are losing and we need new pieces, then that's where decisions are made. I don't know if we could afford to bring back everyone. I hope you're right, Sticky Fingers. I look at our cap space next year, and I also look at the players that we have to potentially retain. And if we do well this year, well, that means we have to start thinking about the guy in your profile picture. We have to start thinking about him. We have to start thinking about Daniel Jones if we're playing well. So I disagree with that. And I would love to bring everybody back, but that's the business of the NFL. I would have loved to have brought Dalvin Tomlinson back. I knew before the year started if Williams played well, he wasn't coming back. I hope I'm wrong. I would love to bring back Peppers. I'd love to bring back everybody. I don't think we're bringing back everybody. Stand up. What's going on there, James, man? Thanks for popping in, buddy. Matt says, no kidding. I live in Salt Lake City. I have nobody to talk about with the Giants. What the hell? I'd happy pay you a monthly fee just to have some in-depth conversations through text. Matt, man, I appreciate you, man, being a great supporter of the channel. I am going to have a member stream this week. I keep saying that, but I am going to do it this week. Where it's kind of like a smaller, it's only like 25 people in there, but it's cool. I get to talk to my members. So I'm probably gonna have one of those this week for all the members in here. Joe, man, thank you very much. Stop with the make or break stuff. 8 wins or more, and Jones, Judge, and Gettleman all stay. Yeah, I mean, I think it's 8 or 9, Joe. I would agree with that. I mean, I don't know what people's definition of make or break. This team can't get worse. If they win 6 games, they're making changes. If they even win 7 games, they're probably making changes. If they make 8, and if they win, and again, I hate to put win totals on it because I think everything is circumstantial. Like if Jones bowls out and the Giants win 7 or 8 games because their defense regresses or because they have injuries, well, my opinion may change. I may say, well, James Bradbury got hurt, Blake Martinez got hurt, but Jones and the offensive line took a huge step up. And they won 7 or 8 games, well, maybe I stick with the plan. So that's why I hate putting win totals on it because I don't know what's going to happen. What I'm going to say for Gettleman specifically, and Jones, of course, because Jones is a part of this equation, for Gettleman specifically and Jones to stay on, the offensive line has to improve, Jones has to improve. If those 2 things happen, good chance Gettleman's here for another year. That's what I'll say. And Tuto, man, thank you very much. If the Giants season goes south again this season, that means our crew has to take our anger on Eagles fans and beat them up more. I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that, man. It's more a make or break year for Gettleman more so than Jones. Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. I think it's both, though. I think Jones needs to improve. I'm not saying he's got to be John Elway, but he needs to improve. Slink says, I'd rather have Jones be great or just plain suck. If he's mediocre, we may keep him longer, and he could drag the team down. Worst quarterback is middle of the road, in my opinion. And I understand that as well. What I'll say to you is, if he is not great yet this year, which I hope he is, I hope he's Josh Allen, and he's good, like Mayfield was last year. I don't consider Mayfield great, but he was good. Got him to the playoffs. He had good numbers. My line of thinking would be, because long-term, I'm in agreement with you, Slink. I do not want to keep Daniel Jones on a second contract unless he's great. I don't believe in paying good quarterbacks elite money. Unless they win a Super Bowl, then you got to do it. But I don't agree. I don't agree with that. So I'm with you. But what I would tell you is if he gets it better this year and he takes that step, I'm going to give him another year to prove he can continue to get better. That would be my line of thinking. I don't need to see a finished product this year. I need to see an improved product. And a substantially improved product. But it doesn't need to be a finished product. Flying to New Orleans week 4 to see our G-Men play. Never attended a game outside of MetLife. Should I be worried to sport my LT jersey? I mean, I've never been to New Orleans, but I would assume their fans are pretty friendly. Why everyone talking sports? Jones needs to stay healthy and throw at least, yeah. Chris, you got to try Dr. Squatch soap. It's fire. Okay. Got to run. Love the show. I appreciate that, Joe, man. Thanks for popping in. My bad, Chris. I did the 20. You guys are nuts, man. You did the you stayed up to 24 hours in bed. You're nuts. But thanks for popping in, MYB. Are we still targeting the guard from the Chiefs? I have not heard any updates on that. You're talking about Ryder? He's a center, by the way, but I've not heard any updates on that. Jason says, if he's good, I'm willing to give him the 4th year, but it's mostly because I don't like 90% of the 2022 quarterback class. If he's good, I think we're giving him a 4. I mean, let's just face it as fans. You know, we could say what we want, what we don't want. If Jones is good this year, he's getting another year. I guarantee it. But I am with you long term. He's got to be a top 7 or 8 quarterback for me to give him an extension long term. I'm in agreement with that, unless he wins a Super Bowl. If he wins a Super Bowl, well, that's part of the cost. If he fixes the interception, fumbles, gets 20 plus touchdowns, then yes. I think he's going to get more than 20 touchdowns. I definitely think he's going to get more than 20. If he plays 17 games, I definitely think he's getting more than 20 touchdowns. That's my hot take. You know, sometimes I'm wrong, sometimes I'm right. And this is all predicated on a 17-game projection. I'm predicting this year Dan Jones is throwing 30 touchdowns if he plays 17 games. I'm predicting that. I really believe that. And last year I thought he was going to struggle. I think he's throwing 30 touchdowns if he plays 17 games this year. I do. Let's see what we got here. What's going on there? Tyler Manning's popping in. Yeah, 30. See, I get this all the time. People think 30 is crazy. Jeremy, do me a favor. Maybe you got to Google it. Do me a favor. And again, this is based on if he plays 17 games. Not 14, not 15, not 12, not 10. Look at Daniel Jones' rookie stats. Tell me how many touchdowns he threw. And tell me how many games he played. He threw 24 touchdowns in 12 games. So why is it so crazy to think in 17 games he could throw 30 when he didn't have Saquon Barkley last year? He didn't have Kadarius Toney last year. He didn't have Kenny Golladay last year. He was in a new scheme. I don't know why fans think it's insane in a 17-game schedule to think that Daniel Jones could throw 30 touchdowns. I don't know. Yeah. I got to go, dude. Catch you all later. Giants got 11-6. Believe. I appreciate that, football guy, man. Thank you very much. And I might have missed something. I did. Grim man, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. He says, problem with Jones being average and balking on a 2022 quarterback is the team will likely be too good the next couple of years to draft top. But here's the thing, Grim, and I get what you're saying. But unless the Bears have a top 3 or 4 pick, we're not going to be able to pick a quarterback anyway unless we trade up. And if Jones is good, we're not trading up. It's just not going to happen. It may, if he doesn't improve and he stays where he kind of is this year, well, then maybe you have a Kirk Cousins situation. Maybe you have a guy where you let him play out his rookie salary. You give him the franchise tag. You know, if he stays like where like Kirk Cousins is in the middle of the pack, and you let it play out that way, but you don't give him that extension. Maybe that's what it ultimately becomes. But let's take it 1 year at a time. Let's hope he gets to that level this year, and let's hope he grows off of it. That's my mindset. No, I'm not doing a 24-hour stream. Not today. That's for damn sure. My problem with DJ is you can't anticipate. I get that, man. Chris, the more I listen to you, the more I find we agree, and we are 20 years apart. I appreciate that, man. Clock says, nice job, pal. I appreciate that, Clock. And Tudo says, for every Giant losing game this season, more Eagles fans will go down with more broken down. They should cheer for the New York Giants every game. I'm with you on that, my man. You shouldn't. By the time we're done, Tudo, they won't have teeth. You shouldn't force a quarterback through, which is what I think we did with Jones. I'd rather keep him if we don't like a rookie. Well, I agree with that, Jason. Also, is you never force a quarterback pick. That's the stupidest thing a team could ever do. You never force a quarterback pick, unless it's like in the second, third, fourth round, more so for need. But if you're in the business of trying to find a franchise quarterback, you don't just take one. You don't just draft one or trade up one in the draft unless you're completely sold on that guy. That's what the worst teams do. That's what puts you in bad situations. If you don't, let's go over all the scenarios. And I don't think this is going to happen because I am predicting Jones is going to get better this year. If you don't like a guy in the draft next year and you're ready to move on from Jones, you don't force the pick. You go the stopgap route. You go the Teddy Bridgewater route. You go the and of course, if you could trade for Rodgers, you do it. But I'm going to say it again for anybody that hasn't been in my streams over the last 2 or 3 times I've done them. Aaron Rodgers, I guarantee it, for all the dreamers out there, will not be a New York Giant. And I'm going to tell you why. And I love Aaron Rodgers. He's my favorite non-New York Giant player in the NFL. I would love to have him on the New York Giants if Jones doesn't work out. Do you think Aaron Rodgers, who's, by the way, has now put it in the contract that he's going to be able to pick which team he gets traded to, is going to want to play for Joe Judge? Do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to sign up to play for Joe Judge? Could you picture laid-back Aaron Rodgers running laps? No. Aaron Rodgers will not be a New York Giant. I've talked about more realistic guys, and it's not what I want. I want Jones to be the guy. I want him to get another year. I've talked about more realistic guys, and to me, a stopgap guy in that Teddy Bridgewater-like mold that could be that 2-year guy if Jones doesn't work out and we're not drafting a quarterback and you're not going to win a Super Bowl with him. He's a guy to man the fort, to hold that position until you go out and draft your next quarterback. I could see Jimmy Garoppolo. And I think the link is obvious. Joe Judge, New England Patriots, Jerry Shaplinski. Go back and look at what Jimmy Garoppolo said about Jerry Shaplinski. He's in love with the guy, the quarterback coach for the New York Giants. I could see that. If Jones doesn't work out and we're not drafting a quarterback, I could see that. Aaron Rodgers, not happening. And Jones is the guy. I'm with you on that, LA Sports. I sure hope so, man. I'm not saying I would want it, but I could see it. Slink says he can't throw 30 touchdowns because Washington football team defense got better. He won't be able to get 17 touchdowns. Okay, Slink. Okay, he's playing the Washington football team defense. Let's go over the other defenses he's playing. Slink, I don't know if you've seen the Dallas Cowboys secondary. How are they? He plays them twice. What do you think about the Atlanta Falcons defense? He's playing them. You don't think he could put up 2 or 3 touchdowns against those defenses? I think 30 touchdowns is very possible. Gravity says, I hate to say it, but it makes sense. I talk realistic. I don't talk dreams. Aaron Rodgers ain't coming to the New York Giants. I would bet my house on it. Jimmy Garoppolo makes more sense if they were going to go that route. Jones will break out. Done. I'm with you, my man. What's going on there, Bobby? Talking Giants says, what up, player? My man. What's going on, buddy? Yeah, I'll probably have a Mets stream this week when they play the Dodgers, MH. I just couldn't do it this week because tonight I have plans. Yesterday I had plans, so I couldn't do it this time around. But the next time they play the Dodgers, I promised I would do some. So, I think Hernandez was the biggest standout yesterday, Eddie. To be honest, if Jones doesn't work out, Jimmy G is best case scenario. Oh, he's a stopgap. He's not a long-term answer. And Blue Collar Man, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Hey, Dana, DJ year 1 gunslinger stats, DJ year 2 fear of the turnover stats, DJ year 3. DJ year 3, and I don't think, by the way, I want to say this, Blue Collar. I don't think Daniel Jones played the way he did because he was scared. I think Daniel Jones was told to play the way that he did last year because the New York Giants looked around after Barkley went down, saw the limitations to their offense, saw the porous offensive line, and Joe Judge, who we all agree has a lot to say, collaborated with Garrett, that's just my opinion, and said, we got to tighten things up. We got to play ball control. We can't turn the ball over. We got to rely on the defense. I don't think Daniel Jones is scared to sling the rock. And I think this year the Giants clearly went out there and they added the weapons for Daniel Jones to go out there and sling the rock. So I don't expect a conservative Daniel Jones this year. Now, that's not to say that there's not going to be games where Daniel Jones is told to rein it in a little bit when you're playing a team like Denver, when you're playing a team like Washington. But I do think Daniel Jones is going to go out there and he's going to sling the rock this year. Great, man. Thank you very much. I hope he's the guy. Think he needs to show top 10 potential in order to roll with him going forward. I would be fine with a Baker. That's what I'm hoping for, Grim. A Baker Mayfield-like jump this year. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm hoping for. And Xerox, man, thank you very much, man. Hi, buddy. Other than the fumble, I thought Clement looked great. He's much better than Booker. I'm with you on that. At least so far, from what I've seen and from what I've heard in practices, Clement looks like the better running back. Like you said, the fumble, you never like to see your running backs fumble, but outside of that, the burst was there, man. He looked impressive to me, and he looked like a better running back than Devontae Booker. I don't think anybody would argue that. He looked better. Right now to me, he looks like the second running back. And Nate, man, thank you very much. First time I heard Jimmy's name, not gonna lie, Sounds not too bad for 2 to 3 years. Then we snag Herbert because the Chargers will have no cap, or maybe not. I'm not saying I want that, Nate. I do not want that. I want Daniel Jones to be the long-term answer. But if you ask me, everybody can live in fantasy land, and everybody could say, oh, let's trade for Aaron Rodgers. Let's do this. Aaron Rodgers ain't coming here. And if you ask me what's a realistic stopgap if we went that route, for all the reasons that I said, Garoppolo. I think he's a realistic stopgap, kind of like Bridgewater. He's in that mold. And his ties to Judge, I could see it. I don't want to see it. I don't want it. I want Daniel Jones to be the guy. Or I want to draft a quarterback. This is all based on the opinion that the Giants are done with Jones. They're not in love with a quarterback, and they say we're going to wait another year to look at the draft for a quarterback, and we're going to bring in a guy like that. Which would be easier said than done for us, since we can barely improve our O-line, much less load it up? Oh, you're talking to somebody in the chat. Do you see a high upside with Ellerson Smith? I mean, I've only seen his tape. I haven't seen enough of Ellerson Smith to really speak on him. And I know he's put on weight. In the initial tapes that I've seen, I think Bobby did a breakdown on it. I don't know if he's still in here. Guy looked incredibly rail thin. But Ellerson Smith, from what I've seen, looks like he could at least be a good situational pass rusher in the NFL. I don't know if he could be an every down player eventually, but he looks like he could, at a bare minimum, be a guy that could be a situational pass rusher in the NFL. And I definitely think he's going to make this team. I don't think Gallman wasn't coming back, Diggy. What's going on, Diggy? Go over there, check him out if you haven't done so. Big Pat, my thought process would be, if that were to happen, which I don't want it to, you would use your picks on the offensive line. You got 2 first-round picks. One of them would be on the offensive line. And Big Bang, man, thank you very much. Says, sup, Dana? What's going on there, Big Bang? My man, how you been, buddy? Glad to see you, man. Hopefully you're enjoying your summer. Hopefully you enjoyed the first preseason game for the Giants. No, AJ Marshall, I just think he's a camp body. I think Ted Larson's a camp body. I don't think he's going to make this team. Everything that I've read about the guy, I just think he's a guy the Giants brought in because they needed somebody for practice. I think they're going to bring in somebody better for the offensive line. Ali Khan, man, what's going on, buddy, man? Thanks for popping in. Ojulari had his handful with Becton, but he held his own a bit. Yeah, Eddie, I think he had a couple of good reps for sure. And you knew he was going to have a tough matchup there with Becton, a rookie guy. He's a little bit undersized. Becton's a mammoth of a man. But yeah, I think he did a decent job. Tudo, man, thank you very much. Time for Tina to come back home to Italy for a nice parm, ice cold Peroni, and homemade cannolis, and post Italy's flag for Italian Giants. Tudo, I'll be there, man. One of these days, I'm going back to Italy. You believe that? I've only been there once. I just hope Barkley stays healthy. He's definitely hovering on that injury prone. For sure he is. I mean, whenever you have an injury like that, Slink, yeah, you worry if the player's ever going to be the same again, right? Or if he's going to have a reoccurring injury. I'm not going to quite label him injury prone yet, but I agree with the hovering part. The year before was a high ankle sprain. That could happen to anybody. But you get an injury like he had last year, if he gets hurt again, yeah, he's injury prone. And hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully he stays healthy and has a huge year for us because we need him. And let's see. I'm more excited for joint. I kind of am too, Diggy. I kind of am too. Obviously, we're not gonna. We'll be able to see clips, but I think you're gonna get a lot more valuable information about this team from the joint practices than the first preseason game because the starters didn't play. So I'm with you on that. I think we're gonna get some good insight about this Giants team over the next couple of days with between Cleveland and then New England with the practices for sure. Matt, thank you very much. Obviously, a hypothetical that won't happen, but imagine DJ's deep ball in a Gilbride offense. Sheesh. He's got an accurate deep ball. There's no doubt about that. I don't know. I think people underrate Eli Manning's arm strength. Eli Manning had a cannon, especially during those years of his career. I don't know if Jones has that quite in terms of strength of arm. He's accurate deep, but I don't think he possesses the arm strength that Eli Manning did when Eli Manning was in his prime. But we all know Daniel Jones can throw the deep ball accurately. There's no denying that. And Jason, man, thank you very much. He says, what would be your top 5 dream players for the New York Giants if cap wasn't an issue? Well, I obviously go youth. Football's a young man's game. So I would look at the youngest, most talented edge rusher, and I'm going Chase Young. Chase Young's like 23 years old. I'm going Chase Young. I think he's the best young pass rusher in the sport. I'm going to the quarterback. How do you go anybody but Pat Mahomes? I'm going Pat Mahomes. So I'm going Pat Mahomes. I'm going Chase Young. I probably got to go Aaron Donald. I mean, he's that good. So I go Chase Young, Aaron Donald, Pat Mahomes. I'm finding if he, I don't know, is Nelson still hurt? If Quentin Nelson, I know he's not a left tackle, but he's like ridiculous. David Bakatari is great too on the Packers, but he got hurt last year as a left tackle. But I'm finding the best offensive lineman I can find that's still relatively young. And then maybe a lockdown corner like Jalen Ramsey. Worry about his attitude a little bit, but that's probably what I'm looking at. Let's see what we got here. But Jason, man, thank you very much. And G Nation, man, thank you very much. We just evaluated guys last night. I like some of the things I saw. Took them 3 quarters to score a touchdown against us. Yeah, we saw our backup defense. The defense played well. The first unit offensive line, I thought, played pretty well outside of the first drive. So I like that. You saw some good individual play, and you saw some things you didn't like. But overall, I'll say this. The first couple of drives, I thought the defense was getting pushed off the ball pretty easily, and then they kind of tightened it up a little bit as the game progressed. And Will, man, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. Stand up, new member. Diggy says Nelson will be ready week 1. I might go with Nelson. I mean, Nelson's ridiculous, and he's still really young. I know he's a guard. He's not a tackle. I might go with him. He might be in one of my 5 players. And I mean, I guess I could go with a top-end wide receiver, too. He might be in the discussion for my 5th player, but I think I'd value a lockdown corner over an elite wide receiver if I was an NFL GM starting from scratch. Because the way I would look at it is if I had a great quarterback like Pat Mahomes, I could get pretty good wide receivers. He could make them look great. Lockdown corner takes away half the field. I think I would prioritize a lockdown corner before a top-tier wide receiver. Happy to be back, man. Hey, man, I appreciate it, Will, man. Thank you very much. And yeah, I'm going to do – I've just been so busy the last week or so, but I think I'm going to do a member stream in like 2 or 3 days. I'm going to put it in the community notes. I think I'm going to do it in 2 or 3 days. Say Mahomes, I think, can make a wide – yeah, that's the way I look at it, Jason. Didn't put Lemieux because I'm hoping we bring in a starter to make him I don't think that's happening, AP. They've been working together for so long now that I don't think that's going to happen. I really don't think that's going to happen, AP. Tana, name your favorite dark horse defensive player. I have loved Crowder. Ooh. So when you say dark horse, you mean like a guy that maybe is being overlooked? Because then Bradbury's not overlooked. Dexter Lawrence not overlooked. Martinez not overlooked. I want to say Lorenzo Carter. I love Lorenzo Carter, but the guy's always hurt. Well, not always hurt, but he's coming off a very serious injury. So I'm not going to say him. Tate Crowder's not a bad answer. But I'm going to go with Ifeadi Odenigbo. I don't know, man. I just have a feeling that Ifeadi Odenigbo is going to be more of an impact player than people think this year. And maybe I'll be completely wrong. But if I'm going to go with a dark horse guy, I think I'm going to go with Ifeadi Odenigbo. I think he fits the scheme well, and I think the Giants are going to find a way to get him out on the field for a decent amount of snaps per game, and I think he'll make an impact. So if I'm going to go with a dark horse guy, I'll go with Ifeadi Odenigbo. And Independent Man, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. He says, what year will the G-Men get to the playoffs? I think 2022. I think 2021. I got them to win 9 games, 9 or 10 games. I think we can make the playoffs this year. I'm going this year, 2021. Let's go. I think 9 wins could get us in. And I got us at 9 wins. I think O'Shane, you like O'Shane. I could see it. The only thing with O'Shane, and I know a lot of Giants fans really like O'Shane, and he was pretty good in his rookie year, especially at the end. Like, he had like 3 sacks over his last 2 games or 3 games. It was very similar, actually, Diggy, to Lorenzo Carter's rookie year. Lorenzo Carter's rookie year, his last 2 or 3 games, he started to really take off. And I think he kind of saw that with Zimenez, and then going into his second year, but he was really high. But the thing I'll say about Zimenez, and I like Zimenez, and I hope he's great, I don't know how much the coaching staff likes him. Judge didn't draft him. He's not necessarily the most versatile player. And last year, at the beginning of the year, even before he got hurt, his snap count wasn't that high. So that's why I wouldn't say him. But if he gets the opportunity, I see no reason why Jimenez can't be a good player for the Giants. Carter Kaufman looked really good, Eddie. The only thing I'll say, it was second and third units, but he looked good. Will we see a new move from Saquon this year? Is there any new moves the guy could come up with? I mean, the guy knows I don't know, man. I feel like I've seen every move of all time when Saquon runs the football and he's healthy. I don't know. Maybe he'll do the moonwalk. I don't know. Maybe he'll tango as he goes past the defender. But no, I think he's got every move in the book. How much of a challenge will it be to overcome the issues of the offensive line? I mean, if it's not good, you've seen it the last 10 years. A big challenge. If the offensive line is not average, it's going to be a major challenge. There are few quarterbacks that can operate an above-average offense without at least an average offensive line. So if it's not at least close to average, it's going to be a challenge, man. I like Carter Kaufman. I think Carter Kaufman's going to be good. Thoughts on Sills? I hope he makes the team. I know everybody. It seems like every Giants fan is in love with David Sills. And I get it. The guy's a hard worker, a converted quarterback, trying to become a wide receiver, worked his butt off last year, would have made the team last year. He's 6'4". I get the attraction of David Sills. Looked pretty good yesterday. I still don't know if he's going to make the team. And I hope he does. I hope he does. My prediction from the beginning has been CJ Board. And the only reason being is special teams. He brings that attribute. I know Joe Judge prioritizes that, and that's what he brings to the team. He's known as a very good special teams player, but I'm rooting for Sills. I hope Sills makes the team. Xerox, man, thank you very much. I'm starting to look like it's starting to look like KT is a little fragile. Yeah. I mean, he's had a couple of minor injuries, right? He had the minor injury during, I think it was rookie minicamp with the whole foot thing. And now this came out, I think, either today or yesterday, whatever it was. I'm not going to get too concerned with it. Obviously, Odell Beckham, if you remember his rookie year, he didn't play, for the first whatever amount of games, 3 games. And people were saying the same thing about him. He got out on the field. He was great. So I'm not going to get carried away with it. But, yeah, I mean, he's had a couple of minor setbacks so far during his career. But I'm not going to get too carried away with it. Football's a game of injuries. Anybody can get hurt. Are you against trading an O-lineman mid-year? Are you against trading an O-lineman mid-year if the O-line is struggling? I think what you mean is, are you against trading? Yeah, okay, I misread it. Trading for an O-lineman. I'm not. But here's what I say to that, because people have told me year in and year out, well, why don't the Giants just trade for an offensive lineman week 6, week 7? Here's what I'm going to say. It's easy to say that. It's easy to say, just go out and just trade for an offensive lineman and be done with it. What team mid-season is going to look to trade away a good offensive lineman? That's like the last position outside of quarterback that I'd ever be looking to trade, because then you're risking the health of your quarterback. So it's easier said than done. I don't think many teams would look to trade an offensive lineman, especially in season. But yes, of course, any way you could try to upgrade the offensive line. And Dylan, man, thank you very much. Jets D had 10 pressures, 5 sacks on 23 pass attempts. Yeah, that was almost exclusively against the second. Well, a little bit against the first unit at the beginning, but almost exclusively against the second unit of the offensive line, which we all know sucks. I mean, they got nobody there. Everybody retired. They're all in Florida, with the retirees, America's graveyard. So I'm not surprised that the second unit offensive line was bad. That's got to improve. We got to get better with our second unit. And Tyler says, "What's up, Chris? Look out, Reggie Ragland. He looked pretty good. I didn't talk enough about him in this stream. He looked pretty good, Reggie Ragland. He had a couple of really nice plays up the middle. Yes, I agree with that." Blacksik 18, we got to give him a chance. Not everyone can be Eli when it comes to injury. Yeah, Michael. I'm not. Again, maybe a little bit, but I'm not even moderately concerned about injuries so far with Kadarius Toney. Things like that are going to happen. Anybody can get hurt with the types of injuries he's had. Bavit, I haven't decided yet if I'm streaming, but if I do, I might recap the preseason game for the Giants. But I'll let you know. But thank you for popping in, Bavit, man. I appreciate it. Maybe a team that's off to an 0-6 start could look to. Yeah, I mean, Gucci, I'm sure there's scenarios where it could happen, but most teams are not going to be looking to trade offensive linemen midseason. Word, what's going on, man? Thanks for popping in, buddy. Are you streaming the whole Knicks season? Yes. I mean, at dusk, of course, there's going to be games here and there that I may miss, especially because it kind of overlaps with football season. So there may be a game here and there that I miss. But, yeah, I mean, the Knicks play 82 games. Expect me to stream like 70 of them. I'm going to try to do every game I can. So, yes, I'm streaming the Knicks again. Smash that. I appreciate that, Hot Nickels, man. What's going on there? Freezy, what's going on, man? Shelton looks like it's early, but our O-line is bad. I'm worried DJ is going to have to run to end up turning. I mean, listen, that's the biggest worry this year for me. I think it's the biggest worry for most Giant fans. And it's why I was pounding the table. It's why several Giants content creators, I don't know who Diggy won. I think Diggy wanted a wide receiver. And a lot of Giants fans did. But it's why there were a lot of Giants content creators that were pounding the table for an offensive lineman. It's why I was. I know Bobby wanted one. I'm sure there were others that wanted an offensive lineman. It's a worry, and I'm not saying that they're going to be wrong. I hope these young players progress, but I saw it as an obvious need, especially in the depth department. And I was all about improving the offensive line. But I'd be lying to you guys if I said I wasn't worried about this offensive line. It's really the only thing I'm really worried about. Obviously, I'm worried about other things, but that's my big worry. I think we could get by everywhere else. That's my big worry. But they could be better than we think, so we'll see. And Blue Collar Man, thank you very much. He says, "How do we beat Denver week 1? What to watch for?" Yeah, I mean, I've talked about this a few times, but and I appreciate it, Blue Collar. Denver and us are like identical in terms of the way that our teams are built. I think we have a question mark at quarterback. We have a question mark on the offensive line. Both offensive lines are suspect. We have good weapons. I would contend that our weapons are a little bit better, but they have very good weapons. And both teams have a very good defense. So the way I would attack, all right, here's what I'm going to say. The way that I would attack Denver offensively, one, I'm going to be conservative. They have the best secondary in the NFL. They have good pass rushers. I'm not going to go out there and sling the rock all over the place. I'm going to be conservative, but when I throw, I'm going to attack the middle of the field. I'm not going to go after their exterior corners. Of course, you're going to take shots here and there to Golladay, but the majority of my throws are going to be over the middle of the field, and that means Butterfingers, Evan Ingram. That means Shepard. That means possibly Tony. That means Barkley if he's in the game out of the backfield, and I'm going to try to utilize Daniel Jones's legs. That's how I'm going to look to try to go after them offensively. Over the middle of the field when I'm throwing the football, and try to run the ball as much as I possibly can and rely on that defense. And Entertainer Sauce Guy, man, thank you very much. I'm going to change my name to the Entertainer Burner. Well, there you go. And Xerox, man, he says, watching Saquon celebrating with Sandro after his big run was I loved it, man. I loved it. That's the first thing I saw. I said it on Twitter as soon as I rewatched the game. That, obviously it was great to see Sandro do that. And it wasn't just Saquon, by the way. You saw the initial shot. Saquon's jumping up in the air like a lunatic. But then everybody, the whole bench was so excited for him. And then to see the later shot where Saquon was hugging him, it was awesome. It was awesome. It showed a team that they're together. They got good chemistry. And that's why I love Saquon Barkley. It is. That's a big reason why I love Barkley. Of course, I love Barkley because of his talent. But what he means in terms of a leader of this football team and being a good teammate. I love Saquon Barkley, man. He's the type of player that I want on my football team. So I thought it was a good representation of Barkley and the New York Giants team as a whole. The world is falling apart, but at least we have Tana and the G-Man. I appreciate that, Pete, man. Thanks for popping in. I wish Sandro had a shot at me. I do too, Diggy. I think he's going to make the practice squad, but I don't think he's going to make the team. Denver whopped the... Yeah, it's preseason. It doesn't concern me. Not yet, anyway. I don't even know if Denver played their starter. The Vikings played their starters, rather. So I'm not going to get too caught up with preseason. Chris, I got into college, and I'm really, really happy about it, bro. And all I need is a Knicks and the Giants to be good in 2021 is a W year for me. Hey, man, I hope you get it, man, and good luck at college. However, he says, I feel everyone is panicking over the line, and they're going to be better than everyone thinks. I definitely think they could be. We'll see. I'm here. I'm going to continue to say it. I am not flipping out after 1 week. I'm not flipping out after 2 weeks. I'm giving them a fair amount of time. I'm going to give the line a fair amount of time. I'm going to give Jones a fair amount of time. But there's going to come a time where it's a fair amount of time. And I think my real true evaluation of the overall offense starts week 3. Obviously, I want them to do good every week. But my expectations are going to raise week 3 on. That's where they're going to start to really raise, where I expect them to hit another gear. Last year, I said week 8 because I knew all the complications from the offseason, the new scheme, Barkley going down. I thought it'd take a half season. This year, I expect them to get into gear much quicker. I've said my reasoning as to why I think the offense is probably going to come out mediocre the first couple of weeks, but by week 3, I expect this offense to show something. In my opinion, I think the Bills secondary is better than the Broncos secondary. I mean, they're both great. They're both fantastic secondaries. I know you said you're going to the Eagles game. Did you get any extra tickets after the FanFest offer came in? What, to the Eagles game? No, I have not. I don't have any extra tickets. If that's what you're asking, I don't have any extra tickets to the Eagles game. But I am going to the Eagles game. Manny, what's going on, man? He says, yo, what's going on, man? And I'm looking forward to that. I can't even imagine how fun the Eagles game is going to be. FanFest was ridiculous. I can't even imagine how fun how the Giants-Eagles game is going to be in terms of the crowd and just the experience. It was so much fun. And FanFest only had about a third of the stadium. So I can only imagine how much more fun the tailgate's going to be when you have a full stadium. And I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Christian F, man, what's going on, man? Q-Dog in the house says, what's up, Dan? What's going on, Q-Dog? Q-Dog, what'd you think of the opening preseason game, man? First head coach to get fired this year. Oh, man, I don't know. Yeah, Authentic, man, I can't wait, man. First, I'm trying to think of a coach that's on the hot seat going into the year. There was a lot of new coaches. They had 7 new head coaches this year. All right, here's a guy I'm going to say, and it's just the first name that popped in my head, and I don't think he'll be the first coach to get fired, but one guy that I could see being fired that I don't think a lot of people are talking about, and it's obviously the team has to do bad, and I think for a coach to be fired, you have to go in with pretty high expectations, and he doesn't meet them. Mike McCarthy, even though it'd be year 2, I could see, because there's been rumors that the Cowboys like Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore kind of fits the Jason Garrett, ideal. He's a Jerry Jones guy, offensive coordinator. He brought him up along the ranks, and he was his long-term answer. I don't think Mike McCarthy's the long-term answer. Much like I didn't think Bill Parcells was the long-term answer when he went over there. Much like I didn't think Wade Phillips was the long-term answer for them when he went over there. If the Cowboys are bad this year, if the Cowboys win 6 games this year, I can see him getting fired. And I saw somebody say the Cardinals coach, I can see that too. I think he sucks. I never understood why the Cardinals hired Cliff Kingsbury to begin with. The guy he wasn't even a great coach at Texas Tech. Never understood it. So that would probably actually be my answer. I was thinking off the top of my head because I don't think the Cardinals are going to be great. And I do think he's going to get fired. So I will go with Cliff Kingsbury. But I do think Mike McCarthy's a candidate as well. Because I look in the NFC West, and it's not a slight on Kyler Murray, but I look in the NFC West, they're not beating the Niners if the Niners are healthy, in my opinion. I think the Niners are better. I think the Rams are better. And I personally think the Seahawks are better. So I just think it's too tough of a division. I think the Cardinals win between 7 and 9 games. And at that point, he might get fired. Mike McCarthy is great for hot dog stands. That's true. But there are a lot of people in football that are great for hot dog stands. Bukala says, how do you think Shelton will play with Dexter? They're going to eat up a lot of space. Big, sexy Dexy coming in at 330. He's really about 350. I don't care what that says. And Leonard Williams, and they're going to eat up a lot of space, man. They're going to eat up a lot of space. We dodged the. Yeah, I never wanted McCarthy. You go back. You watch my videos. I never wanted McCarthy. Was never a fan of McCarthy going to the Giants. I did like Rule. I did like Rivera. I didn't know Judge. But I remember doing. I always say it. I did a video on all the candidates that year, and that was a really fun offseason because not every offseason are you looking for a coach. So you get to learn about all the coaching prospects. They brought a new whole coaching staff, so there was so much content, so much to talk about. I remember doing a video on. They had like 6 or 7 candidates, the Giants, and I did a video on all of them. And all the other 5 or 6 got like between like 5,000 and 7,000 views for the coaches. McCarthy, Rule, name it. Whoever they brought in. They brought in Don Wink Martindale, the DB's coach for Dallas. I can't remember, Chris Richard. But the Joe Judge one got like 1,000 views because everybody was just like, well, they're not going to hire him. He's a special teams guy. He's 38 years old. And I went back and watched the video because I'm like, I'm curious to see what my initial thoughts were of Joe Judge before we hired him. When I did, when I did the research. And in the video, I said they're not going to hire him because he didn't fit the mold of what the Giants usually look for. They usually look for more proven commodities, blah, 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 blah. But I did say in the video that he is going to be a head coach one day, and his resume is very impressive. And I went into like that, he got a doctorate degree while he was still being a head coach, and he's a hard worker. He's a really smart guy. He learned under the 2 best head coaches in the history of football. And I was impressed by him, and I even think I said that I actually would be happy if the Giants hired him. I just don't see it happening. But Max, man, thank you very much. Plot twist, Dallas fires McCarthy and rehires Garrett. That would be great. And Matt Tripp says Vikings coach. I could see that. But I'm going to say no to that. I could see it if they underperform, but I actually like the Vikings this year. So I have the Vikings making the playoffs. But if they have a bad year, yes, I could definitely see that. I love the idea we have a young coach, and I feel he's going. I hope so, Scott. Please take back Garrett. Does Gruden get a pass? He shouldn't. He shouldn't. Because Gruden has full control there. Right? Gruden's not just the head coach. He's the general manager, I think, unless it's changed. He shouldn't. And I do not agree with the way the Raiders have built that football team. They lost their entire offensive line. They drafted nothing but wide receivers the year before. They drafted Calais and Farrell 4th overall. I do not agree with the way Gruden's built that football team. And I do not think he should get a pass. Now, the only reason why he probably will, because I don't think the Raiders are going to be good, is he's got a 10-year contract. But I don't think he should get a pass. I don't think Gruden's done a good job with the Raiders. I think he's been a failure so far. Yo, Chris, what's good? Gabe, man, what's going on, man? Matt Nagy. Good call. Good call, Gabe. I could definitely see that. Oh, Mike, Jake, why did I think he had full control? Did he? I thought Gruden always had full control. But man, I guess I was wrong. Bills fan, man, thank you very much. All I know is I want Brian Daboll. Well, he's going to. He's going to get a head coaching opportunity, but the Bills are going to do everything in their power to keep him there. But he did a great job with your offense last year. Dylan, man, thank you very much. NFL Top 100 puts Tre'Davious White at 95. What a job. He's one of the better corners in the league. Yeah. Mayock was there first. He hired. Oh, why did I think? I thought Gruden had maybe it's a joint thing. I always thought that Gruden had personnel decisions there. You think Gruden has the final word? Is that what it is? I don't know. But I don't know if you already said this guy, but Zach, yes, he could be as well. That's the Bengals guy, right? Did you watch any new? I watched the guy going against us, but I saw highlights. I didn't watch the other games. I saw highlights of Fields, and I saw a bit of Trey Lance. I did not get to see Trevor Lawrence, but I will go back and watch them. But I didn't watch the games. I saw highlights of the other two, and obviously I watched Zach Wilson. Clayton Dorsett is straight trash. Bring back McCoy. Oh, is that what it was, Diggy? Okay, he wasn't there until year 2 of Gruden. So Gruden, I guess, did come in, and maybe they made a change. What's going on there, Tommy? Man, thanks for popping in. If Garrett doesn't have our offenses moving consistent this year, I think he's gone. Yeah. Here's what I'm going to say about Garrett. I think Garrett's gone no matter what. I think Garrett's good. I think this is like Garrett's last year with the Giants this year. Good or bad. If the Giants offense is good, I think he gets a job. I think he gets a head coaching job. Whether it's in the NFL or whether it's in college, but I think he leaves the Giants for a head coaching job. He clearly showed this past offseason that he was interested in a head coaching job. He took an interview with the Chargers. I think he took an interview with another team. So if the Giants offense takes a big step forward this year, I think he's going to leave. If the Giants defense sucks, I think he's going to get replaced. The good news is, because I hate changing offensive coordinators, blah, 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 blah. The good news is, for the Giants, I personally think Joe Judge already has his replacement on the roster. Joe Judge is the type of guy that thinks 2 steps ahead. I think somebody on the roster, whether it's Kitchens, somebody on the roster is going to be the next offensive coordinator for the Giants. And I think he will be in 2022. And which is good, because familiarity with the quarterback. Xerox, man, thank you very much. Did you see the viral clip of DJ throwing up? Yes, I did. We talked about that earlier. The only logical explanation I could have for that, and I said it earlier, was that if you watch the play, Will Hernandez just completely whips on the block. And you know in practice you can't sack the quarterback. And Jones was just like, all right, the play's over, and he just threw it. That's the only thing that makes sense to me, unless the wide receiver just completely ran the wrong route. There is no way that Daniel Jones saw what was happening in front of him and said, oh, yeah, it's a good idea to throw it there. It was either it was a timing route where he expected the receiver to be there and he ran the wrong route, or he was just throwing the ball away because he was like, all right, I give up. In a real game, I would have been sacked. It's the only thing that makes sense to me. It was a miscommunication and Ingram was an option. Yeah, it had to be something like that. It had to be a timing route. It had to be something like that. There's no way Daniel Jones intentionally threw it there, not thinking that the guy was supposed to be there. I can see Jason Garrett as a janitor. Guys, I am going to wrap this up in about 10 minutes. I usually go about 2.5 hours. I will either be I'll probably have a video up tomorrow. And I'm sure there's going to be stuff to talk about. Whenever there's like a big story to talk about, I'll probably go live to talk about it with you guys, give my opinion. Because it's just more fun for me, man, getting to talk to you guys. So I'll probably do that in the future. I'm sure there'll be some big stories coming out soon, being that we got to join practices, things like that. But I'll definitely have a couple of videos up this week. And I just appreciate all you guys' support, everybody that's been here today, and that continues to show support to the channel. I'm so looking forward to Sunday. When we get to call my first Giants game this year, I'm really looking forward to it. Q-Dog, man, thank you very much. I don't wish anything bad towards Fields, honestly. I hope he has an MVP season statistically, and the Bears go always say, oh, yeah, of course. I never wish it. I don't have any ill intentions towards Justin Fields. Now, of course, if he has an MVP season, Q-Dog, I got news for you. They're not going 0-17. So you may want to sound like a nice guy. You're not. No, you're a nice guy. But for them to do bad, he can't be great. So I hope Justin Fields struggles a bit this year, and then he has a great career after that. Let's say that. I hope Justin Fields has a really crappy rookie year. The Bears go 0-17, and next year he wins the MVP. He can win 20 more MVPs in a row after this year. Just not this year. I want that first overall pick. Agitator says 0-17 sounds good, but looks weird. Yeah, it does look. Anything with 17, any record rather, is going to look weird now with the extra game on the schedule. Rob Sell had a 3-headed rush against. Yes, he's a run first mentality. Rob Sell called the plays there as well. And he could be potentially the future offensive coordinator for the Giants as well. The other guy, I'm just listening to candidates other than Shaplinsky, who I've talked about before, but the other guy that could be the offensive coordinator that in training for the Giants, I can't remember his name, but the guy they brought in from LSU, I think he's like the passing game coordinator. He's something to do with the offense. They brought him in. He was known to be a smart mind with LSU. I could see the Giants lining him up to be the future offensive coordinator as well. I just can't remember his name off the top of my head. What's up, Jameson, man? Thanks for popping back in the stream. Deal. I'm with you, Tana. Let's go, my man. Giant for life. Next Summer League game, maybe I got to see the schedule. If it's tomorrow, maybe I will. Tonight I can't. I don't know if you mean tonight, but if the game's tomorrow, maybe I will. Yeah, I passed out, Benjamin. Yes, that's it. Russ Callaway. Yeah, that's it. Russ Callaway. I could see that. I could see him being the future offensive coordinator as well. One of those guys I think is going to be our future OC. I could see Callaway. I could see Kitchens. I could see Shaplinski. I could see one of those guys. But I actually might be leaning Callaway. He's like that young, innovative mind. I remember reading an article that LSU brought him in specifically because they thought the guy was brilliant. I could see it. I'm not saying, I could see it. Not tonight. Okay. So, yeah, if it's tomorrow, I'll do it, man. I could see Eli's are up and I don't think Eli's. I don't think he wants to be a coach. It just to me that just doesn't seem like Eli's personality. I think he wants to be involved with the team, but I don't think he wants to be a coach. It's going to be nice to hear some cheers at MetLife this year. Yeah, man. It was so fun being at the stadium for FanFest, man. Actually getting to see a full crowd. It was an absolute blast. Thoughts on Clayton Thorson? Kalen asked. My thoughts on Clayton Thorson is one of two things. Option one, he needs to get an eye exam. He needs to go. He needs to go to the eye doctor because he either is blind, so it's either that, or my other opinion of Clayton Thorson is he needs to look into another career. I hope he's got a college degree because football's not for him, unless it's an eye problem. And Jedi says, smash that like. I appreciate it. Thorson made Nate Sudfeld look like Aaron Rodgers. Yes, he did. Agree with Russ Callaway as well. Got that young. Yeah, I could see it, Eddie, man. I could see it. He's better than Nate Sudfeld. Yeah, that's not saying much, Toasty. Queasy, what's going on, man? Any news on if Kenny Golladay is going to be ready for week 1? Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard any updated news. The only, and maybe somebody in the chat is more updated than me, but the last I heard about Golladay, I don't think he's in full swing back to practice, but I think he's been catching balls. I think I heard that like a week ago. I could be wrong on that, but I think I'm right. But he's not in the full swing. I expect Golladay to be playing week 1. I expect him to be playing week 1. I don't know if he's going to play any preseason games. I hope he does by the third one, but I expect him to be playing week 1. I don't think he's going to miss any time to start the year. I think they're just playing it safe. It didn't sound like it was a real serious injury, but of course, we all know that that's the type of injury, hamstring injury, that could pop back up again. I think they're playing it safe. Yeah, let's hope to fill MetLife for the opening game. Let's rock that place. That's right, Scott. I know it's early, but you think we keep that run? I don't. On the practice squad, yes, but I don't think we're going to keep. I don't think he's going to make the 53-man roster. I think he's going to make the practice squad. Ross, yes, I think Ross will make the team. It's possible he doesn't. I know he's a little bit banged up, but yes, if he's healthy, I think Ross is going to make this team. All reports were that Ross was having a strong camp, so yes, I wouldn't be shocked if he didn't, because he was the guy that I talked about at the beginning of camp where I was like he could be the surprise cut, but I think he's going to make the team. Eli would be a great quarterback. I could see QB coach before OC, but I don't think he'll ever be a coach. Can Sandro Platts come or make? Somebody just asked that. I don't think he'll make this team. Not this year. Practice squad, yes. Not the 53-man roster. But guys, I am going to. It's 5:30, so I am going to close this out. I got to eat. But I just want to say once again, thank you to everyone for all the support on the channel. Yeah, Eli's going to be a commentator, by the way. Good call there on ESPN2 this year. Thank you guys for all the support on the channel. I'm so looking forward to the second preseason game, the third preseason game, the regular season. I always have so much fun talking Giants with you guys. I'm going to be doing these after every preseason game. After we have a day to digest, watch the game over. Every regular season game, we're going to have a stream the next day. We're going to talk about the game. And looking forward to doing these. This is something new I'm adding to the channel this year. So I can't say thank you enough. Hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend and enjoy your dinner, wherever you are in the world, and we'll talk soon. As always, if you like what you watch, please subscribe. Drop a comment. Gonna holler at you. All right, Authentic. Sounds good, man. As always, if you like what you watch, please subscribe. Drop a comment. Maybe give me a little thumbs up. Cheers.